Thank you everybody for waiting. I put the wrong time for when I was gonna go live, so y'all were waiting. They will just I'm the first tonight. First is the worst, second is the best. So just stating the facts. You guys are crazy. All right, I am glad to be here. Let me unbutton my shirt. It's hot out here. Udo, udo, udo. So again, just like always, this is an ask me anything. Um, we'll see where this goes. I'm gonna very anyways, we'll see. We'll see where things go. Ndewo nu, ndewo. Who's all in here? I see Danielle. Danielle, very happy to see you. All smiles be super happy to see you guys. Ndewo. When we get let's do 10 today. When we do 10, when we get 10 people, I'll go ahead and begin, okay? As always, this is Ask Me Almost Anything. You guys can, any question you have, I'll go ahead and answer. Um, the Some questions might get missed if it gets busy. If I miss it, ask it again. Once the questions run out, I am done. And I'm going to go ahead and begin once we get 10 people in here. So if you are in the chats and you want to go ahead and get started and help the process, go ahead and send this to post this in the group chat, post this on TikTok, post this on Instagram, post this on Twitter. I'm trying to think of all the ones, Facebook, wherever. Send this to somebody who may be interested in this type of discussion. I have a feeling this is going to be a good one today. Right? I have a feeling this is going to be a good one today. I can't say why, but it's not to be explained. Rasan, one them. Hey, ndewo. Ndewo. Hey, very nice seeing you. SC, ndewo. Man, it makes me really happy to see some of the same names, like to be seeing the same names. Because you guys have been with me for a long time now. And I appreciate that. It means a lot. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn. Ise. No, nobody's speaking out of turn, but I'm not answering questions till we get 10 people in here. So, that being said, the best way to support the channel, if you want to support the channel, best way to support is by joining the Village. The Village is our Patreon community on www.patreon.com/the medicine show. So patrons have full access to my research library, and at the highest tier, you have full access to my school. My school is www.kedu.me. Right now, we have two classes. One is an Igbo language class. It is the best Igbo language class on earth. It is the most effective Igbo language class on earth. We just did a boot camp um, this morning, and it was just so nice to see how far everybody has come as far as learning the language in the past 3 months. It's been incredible, and it's always incredible. So, best Igbo language class in the world, or program in the world, and then we have a traditional medicine class, the Ogun class. So, if you are interested in traditional Igbo medicine, or you want to begin your path of becoming a Dibia, that class is available on www.kedu.me. But if you are at the highest tier on Patreon, you can get any of those classes, no additional cost. So um, I think we hit 10 people and somebody left. He said, all right, we've hit 10. We're witnessing history, a renaissance. I really appreciate that, and I completely agree. This is a movement. This is a movement. So I completely agree with you, and I appreciate it. I'm trying to get my angles right. So absolutely, this is history. This is a movement. You guys are making it possible. I always say it's becoming cliche, but like I said, I thought I would make this channel and like in like 50, 20 years people will be interested, or maybe every now and then somebody needs a resource to look and verify things, and I wanted to be like a reliable person for that, but you guys just made this into a movement. So we are the only movement moving, Udo. This is a renaissance, absolutely. So we've hit 10 people. He said, let me go ahead and begin. All right. Okike keru alawa ala nne mmadụ na nne mmụọ ala na-enye ala na-egozi ụmụ gị abịala eji m ọjị n'aka na-ekele ụmụ ndị eke, ụmụ ndị orie, ụmụ ndị afọ na ụmụ ndị nkwọ. Eji m ọjị n'aka na-ekele ndị mgbu na ndị egede, ndị mmadụ na ndị mmụọ. Ụwa ọjị ike ka m ji ekele ala na igwe ọfọ na ogwu, ntanimo, mmadụ na mmụọ, ajana na kpakpando eluigwe. Eji m ọjị n'aka na-ekele unu. Ọjị cake bụ ọjị m ji akpọ nna nna mụrụ m, nna nna na-enye m ndụ, nna nna nyere m ọfọ nwoke n'ụwa. Nna ejike, eji m ọjị na-ekele gị. Nna emena aha, eji m ọjị na-ekele gị. Nna ukwu ebu, eji m ọjị na-ekele gị. Nna ọfọdụrụ nwa, eji m ọjị na-ekele gị. Nna Fidelis Akaweze, hụ ọjị ka m ji na-ekele gị. Eji m ọjị na-ekele ndị ọpụ unu niile na ndị iche unu niile, mana anyị ga-ebi n'udo, anyị ga-ebi n'uche, anyị ga-ejisi ike na-aga ije Chineke kere ka anyị gaa n'ụwa. Otu a ka ọ ga-adị n'Eke, n'Orie, n'Afọ, na Nkwọ, ise. All right, let's go. JD Bailey, super happy to see your name here. Udo, udo, udo. Udo, udo, udo. All right, y'all, ask me anything. If you guys have any questions you want to ask, any topics you want to discuss, I am 100% here for it. I am here until the questions run out. Once the questions run out, we are out. This can be a 2-hour live. This can be a 10-minute live. Let's go. He said, K. Shwazy, thank you so much for that. Thank you. Have you ever heard of the family Ofo being a last name? Ofo is my last name. Ofo is my last name. So people can have the last name of Ofo. My last name is Ofo Derenwa. Ofo Derenwa, which is that the Ofo is within this child. The Ofo is within this person, right? The Ofo, this person already has the Ofo within them. That is my last name. So some people, it's very hard to find another person with that last name, right? I haven't encountered another family with Ofo Derenwa as a last name. But some Ofo Derenwas will just go by Ofo Dere or Ofo Dele, right? Which is the Ofo is within. It's just shortening the name, taking the Nwa out. And then some Ofo Deles will just go by Ofo. So yeah, Ofo is a normal last name. Mike, Igbo spirituality perspective for discipline. Let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah, so discipline. Akankumoto, the upright hand, discipline. Discipline is a big, vague subject, but it is unbelievably important in the understanding of our spirituality, because it is said that the Ofo can only sit in a firm hand, in a disciplined hand, in a hand that is in control of itself and in control of its own spirit, a hand that is walking firm and that is assured of what it is and where it's going, and then a hand that is connected to or one with the way of their chi. In order to be this hand and to have that hand, you have to have discipline. You have to have fortitude. You have to have the ability to self-sacrifice. Discipline is connected to the Ikenga. The disciplinary energy is the Ikenga, right? The disciplinary energy is the Ikenga. So a lot of the rituals that tie to the Ikenga are going to deal with some sort of enhancement of your own personal discipline. This can come in the form of some type of restraint, right? So you're going to abstain from this, abstain from that, abstain from this, so on and so forth. At the same time, our ancestors believe that discipline does not come from the outside onto a person. Discipline comes from within and comes out. So in all reality, our people believe that you can never really tell somebody what to do. Everybody is going to do what their chi tells them and makes them do. There's no real such a thing as the external control. I think in the West, the idea of an external control is very necessary for the concept of discipline, right? But the internal control is actually what makes things happen. So there's this theory. It's like a Western guy wrote this. I can't remember his name, but he says something along the lines that everybody is what they call a scofflaw, right? A scofflaw, meaning that Even though there are laws, everybody is actually just following their own perception of what is right and wrong in their own law. So our ancestors are already of the understanding that that's just what it is. Everybody is already within their own law, but that there are certain things within the growth of an individual, very specifically a man, very specifically a man. There are things in the growth of an individual, very specifically a man, that are refined and require that internal discipline, right? So you can raise a child, right? You can raise a child. You can raise two children, and if one of them has that spirit in them, the spirit of discipline, of the upright hand, the akankumoto, that child with the exact same discipline is going to turn out different from the child that doesn't have it within them, right? That kind of thing. But you as a parent are going to try your hardest and do what you can to izungwa, to raise the child, to transfer a child from one place to another. There's also the concept of agu when it comes to discipline, right? So it is said that everybody has two natures. Agua na agu. Agua na agu. Agua is your natural state. Your just the way you are. It's just your natural way of being. And in order, there are certain things you need to do in life that require you to shut off agua and operate in agu, which is a higher self, a more disciplined self, a self that is in control of their impulses and so on and so forth, right? So yeah, discipline is massive. Discipline is huge. The offer cannot be held by an undisciplined hand. There's no such a thing as having a title and not being disciplined, right? Now a person can take a title and just not have the discipline, not have the character of it. But there's an ilu that says ofo maonye jia, the ofo knows who holds it. So I can come to you now and say that I am an Ozo, and Ozo is a living ancestor, right? I am an Ozo. And another person can come and say that they're an Ozo. And you as a human being will look at our characteristics and you'll know who is actually telling the truth, who is actually the Ozo. My dad said something one day that was very profound. Um, we were at this town meeting. So in Igbo culture, we have these things called town meetings where if you leave your hometown, which we do habitually, if you leave your hometown and go somewhere else, all of the other people from that town will form a union called a town meeting. You'll meet once a month, you pay dues. The dues usually do like building projects and things at home. But so we were doing the town meeting, like the national town meeting, and my dad's kind of like a respected figure in my town. But one of his haters was the organizer, and they have these things called high seats. And my dad he didn't call my dad to the high seat, and everybody was kept like looking like it was getting awkward because it was like, based on who my dad is, it was natural for him to be there. So it was awkward, like, why didn't you do that? And that was weird, like, oh, this is, there's some tea going on here, right? So I asked my dad, I was like, man, I was like, why are they hating? He's like, it's not always the person who sits on the throne who is the king, right? It's not always the person who sits on the throne who is the king. There is this, and that quote. I don't bring up my dad enough because he's awesome, but I don't bring him up enough on here. But there's this scene in Game of Thrones where Joffrey starts lipping. If I'm not gonna explain the characters, but okay, a little bit. There's this little lippy kid named Joffrey. He's like he's the king, but he's just like a little immature kid. And then there's Tywin, who's like a kind of a noble, but he's like a backstage schemer kind of thing, and he's actually the guy in charge. So Joffrey says something to Tywin that implies like, I'm the king, right? And Tywin stood up and said something. He didn't even say, I can't remember the exact words. It's one of the best scenes in TV history. He says something to Joffrey along the lines of like, I'm gonna do my duty, but he was telling him, hey, I'm the actual king. You enjoy your seat, right? So that's how Ofo works. That's how any title works. That's how those things work. That all of these things, like somebody can say they're a dibia, but the people, I'll get to that. So the people will know who a dibia is and who there isn't, and all those things come down to discipline. When we see the spirit of discipline, because the spirit of authority is tied to the ikenga. The spirit of authority is tied to Igwe, to Amadioha, to the sky. And the spirit of authority is tied to the masculine energy. And you can claim to be a man, but we know that man has levels, right? We know that man has levels. So the quest of a man, the quest of a man in life is heightening his level of manhood to reflect the ideal, which is Igwe, which is the sky, right? The literal sky, not like some like that, the sky. That's what it means. That's what it means to be a man in the ancestral worldview. You can make whatever meaning you want from that, but there's a lot to learn from that idea. But yeah, there's a lot of the things that I talk about are tied to the idea of discipline, and that Igwe, that masculine energy within everybody has it in them, but within you as a person is your Ikenga, right? The personal one is the Ikenga, right? So working with your Ikenga, or I'm sorry, discipline strengthens your Ikenga, right? Your Ikenga is fed by the concepts of discipline, restraint, purpose, right? And I say all these things too, and it's so funny because you go on the internet and you hear all these, oh man, a woman needs to listen to a man, a woman needs to be listened to a man. But if a man is locked into his Ikenga, women listen. I'm giving you guys the juice. If a man reflects Igwe, if a man reflects that Igwe energy, women listen. It's not so you don't go and tell, hey, you do this, you do this, you do that. But what I have seen in my own life is that when a man is moving in a direction, if a woman sees a man moving in a direction, she moves with him. You understand? It's not that you'll be telling her, okay, move your left foot, move your right foot, move your left foot, right? But it's I'm converting to Islam. Suddenly the wife's a Muslim. I'm going to do this if they see you moving in an act, moving, really moving. Now, as a man, let me not get into the gender stuff too much. But if a woman sees a man moving, that kind of thing, all of those things are tied to the Ikenga. These things are spiritual. They're not something you'll do with mouth. You're not going to use your mouth to tell somebody you're a man. But Ohameze, the people know a king. The people know what they see when they see it. And one of the things they see within is the capacity for discipline, right? So that's a little bit of that. I can go a little further on that if you guys want to, because that was a good ass question. So let's go. I think I missed some questions. I'm trying to have like a. I was trying to have this thing on like a stand, but I think I'll just hold it. Oh, all fault being a last name. I answered that. When I think hard, that is something we hold dear. We do. Building. We do. Oh, okay. I meant family specifically. I mean, our Alfa is our family last name. So the word Alfa is very interesting, right? The word Alfa is very interesting because Fa means remains. Fa means remains. A means it. He, she, it. He, she, it. Alpha is literally he, she is what remains. He, she, it that remains. It's interesting too because in a lot of the cultures in the diaspora, a lot of these things get carried over, right? To concepts like put that on your mom's grave, all that is all false concepts, and the last name too. What did Dame Dash say? I work for my last name, not my first name. That's awful. Yeah, it's the concept of awful. It's that which remains, the perpetual thing that gets passed on and passed on and passed on, and when it's held, it connects everybody that has touched it. So, what is Igbo spirituality perspective for? Whoa. What is Igbo spirituality perspective on sexual addiction and how to overcome it? Man, Mike, you're going deep. Mike, you're going deep. Um, ugh. I have to think about that because there's a lot to be said, and it is something that I have thought about and I do have an answer for, but I don't want to just ramble. Like I think it's a little much for just this, like spontaneous live, semi-spontaneous live. But a lot of addictions, so the your chi is like your sunlight, right? If you think about the chi, think about the sun. And if you grow a plant in a shadow, it will start bending towards wherever it finds the sun. It'll start bending towards the sun, right? It'll start bending towards the sun. But if people have an absolute confusion as to what and who they are or what something is, like the concept of sex, if they have a confusion, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Yeah, there we go. If you have a confusion about what sex is or who you are as a person, it is very easy to start thinking something else is your light. And when you feel that chi, when you feel that or a simulation of it even, it's addictive. It's very addictive. There is a reason why religion is a very effective means of ending addiction. Religion is a very effective means for ending. It has been the most effective, other than like outright medication, which becomes its own addiction. No, no, I think religion is even more because 10-step program, right? Religion is the most effective, one of the most effective means of ending any form of addiction, right? Because most addictions, from my own personal theory, I'm not a therapist. I'm just giving my own take. Most addictions, from my own perspective, it looks like a person trying to simulate that concept of light because somehow, some way, they don't feel it naturally or they are confused as to where it is found, right? So a lot of times with like a concept like sex addiction is paired, it comes with this understanding of what sex is that is divorced from reality. And once a person escapes reality, they're susceptible for whatever is going on in the new zeitgeist they've entered. So perhaps they feel that if they sleep with somebody, that makes them more valuable as a human being, right? Perhaps they feel that if they sleep with somebody, the objective of interacting with somebody is to sleep with them, right? Most of us, maybe it's changed now for young people, but most, if you're around my age grade, as like growing up as a young man, the big idea was go get as many girls as possible, right? That's what makes you a man. That's what makes you cool. That's what makes you matter, right? That kind of thing. And some people never surpass that mentality. Some people think that's the light. Some people think that's what being a man is, right? All right, I don't. I'm going to be a very obnoxious old man, like when I get old, because you know how people like repeat themselves when they get older. I have like five preset rants that everybody in my family is tired of hearing, right? And the rants from last year was that the I don't I don't want to get too far into this. But I was saying that the concept of sexual pleasure is unhinged, right? And we need to knock that bullshit off. Like, what the fuck do you mean? You know? And if anybody wants to hear that rant, go ahead and ask. I'll elaborate. I'll elaborate. But that concept is leading a lot of people into the abyss. And so that's one facet of it. But overcoming your addiction, overcoming addiction, there is something to be said about a connection to your chi. And I know that's kind of the cliche answer, but there is something to be said about a connection to your chi, and a very intimate and a very strong connection can help people overcome addictions. Absolutely. Uh, but sometimes, if somebody explains to you that your chi is Jesus, that works too. It works. If they explain to you that your chi is Allah, that works too. But so long as whatever name you're calling it, so long as you have a sincere connection, you're building that sincere connection. I have seen it very, very effectively help people with addiction. And I say this as somebody who, when I was like in my mid 20s, I used to work at a homeless shelter. And no, I'm not gonna say unhoused because they call themselves hobos. They don't give a damn. But all these dumbass terms that people are sitting there and are making up in some dumbass coffee shop. They call themselves hobos, you know. Talk about unhoused. Yeah, so I used to work at a homeless shelter, and the one of the things I saw that helped people overcome religion or addiction was religion, which can arguably be its own addiction itself. But it's better to have an addiction that doesn't deteriorate your body, unless your religion just sucks. So, but I can elaborate on anything that I mentioned there because a lot was said. Mike, you're always coming with these heavy ass questions. What's going on? What did I miss? No, you didn't miss too much. Just me yapping. How would one know if someone is an ancestor rebirthed? Oh, such a good question. So that's such a good question. I'm glad somebody's asked that. I was waiting for that question. So in Igbo cosmology, there's this belief that there's a part of you that is undying. This is your agun. And when you pass away, so there's four components that you're made of. There's your chi, right, which is your creator, and you are part. You like your creator is one of the things that makes you. You're a manifestation of your creator, right? So there's your chi, there's your eke, there's that creator coming into physical form and manifest form, which is you. I want to start saying manifest form instead of physical form because physical is not. It doesn't encapsulate everything. So you are the creator's vision in manifest form. That is Eke, creation. There's your Agun, that undying part, and then there's more, your spirit. Um, when you pass away, these four parts separate. That's why we break Alji. We represent that, Iwalogy, to break Alji. These four parts separate and go their different ways. But that undying part of you, your Agun, it returns. It begins the process of return. And it returns into somebody who you like. It returns into it returns by way of a woman who you are close to, sometimes the wife of a man you're close to, but usually like a woman that you were close to in life, right? So for example, now I my example is not the best, but because we're not super, like, I don't know the guy, but he was my grandfather's friend. My son is in reincarnated by way a reincarnation of my grandfather, right? My daughter is a reincarnation of my grand aunt. So the way they figure this out is there's many ways to figure it out. You'll go to a dibia and you'll give them the names of people who have passed away recently in your family. Sometimes you don't even need to, based on the skill level of the dibia. That is one of the ways. One of the ways, and this one is controversial, but I believe it's true. Most women know, if a woman is aware of reincarnation, she will know. She'll know who it is, right? And so this one gets challenged a lot, but I think that one is probably the most accurate. So oftentimes a woman will know, and then there's another way to do it where you call different names of different ancestors, and the one that the child answers, the baby infant answers, is their name. So these are three ways that they use to figure out who it is. The most common right now is taking them to a dibia, but I think that if a woman is aware of ilu, reincarnation, she tends to know. She tends to know. And so yeah, that's those are three ways that they use to figure it out. Sometimes it's kind of common sense too. Like when my wife got pregnant, I knew it was going to be my grandfather. If it was a boy, that was the man that passed most recently. And when he passed, I was interacting with him a lot. We were close, and that kind of thing. My wife is her grandmother. My wife is her grandmother, and before her grandmother died, I think it was like a few days before she died, mm, her mom was pregnant, and the grandmother, who was blind, said, "That's me in your stomach." She said, "That's me in your stomach." And a few days later, her rapa caught fire. She was blind; she couldn't see. Her rapa caught fire, and she died in a fire, and returned as my wife. And so my wife is my dad's mother. And what tends to happen with the reincarnation is the affection you had for the person in their previous life kind of gets transferred onto the new person. So it's, loving somebody and caring about somebody is 50% about them, but it's also 50% about you. And so that affection and that understanding of who that person is gets transferred over to the new person. So like my my dad, my not my dad, my grand, no, I'm sorry, my father-in-law, really, really, pampered my wife growing up because that's his mother, and he was very close to his mother growing up when he was younger. I'm trying to think of some other examples. Um, my my I'm trying to think of another example, like another example. Like, okay, I use this example all the time. Like during my wedding, my we don't have best man in weddings at home, but my son from a previous life was very close to being a best man. He was just an older guy, probably in his 60s at the time, but he was just super close to me. Like he was really like happy to see me getting married, and he was just smiling ear to ear anything I would do and that type of thing. And but he was my son in the past life, so he transferred that over because he gets to be with his father again, that kind of thing. So that's how that works. But yeah, those are the three ways. Either the mother knows, um they can do afa naming, afa to understand divination by way of a dibia, or you can do the ceremony where you call the different names and then the child will answer, and the one they answer to consistently is their name. Onyobo. How? Okay, Swayze, that was a dope question. Yeah, once a woman becomes a man's yeah, we're about to get into that Andrew Tate ass territory. Yeah, yeah. Well, women tend to want something better than them. If you're not like heterosexual, I'm talking about heterosexual shit. I don't know how the other ones work. But women tend to want something better than them. So you see it all the time in these little dumbass arguments about a guy has to be making six figures, a guy has to be taller than me, a guy has to be. It all says the same thing. So if she becomes the trophy, if you're in awe of her and she knows she's immortal, she's looking at you like, I'm just a regular human being. What are you talking? Like, if this is what's impressive to you, what heights can you rise to, right? It's like a car. Like, everybody wants a car that drives faster than they can walk. I don't want to be faster than my car. That's what I don't want to be faster than my car. And that's really, if you guys, I mean, again, everybody's just, yeah, it's just content anyways, but people keep arguing about these things, but it's very self-explanatory. Or if you don't make more money than her and you're not there, you have to have an excess of something that she doesn't have, right? And you have to be really locked into that thing and have full faith and believe in it, right? And that's what it is. Okay, I was using all fall as truth. Thanks for clarification. Yeah, people will say like, yeah, okay. I mean, all fall is connected to truth, so you're not far off. But the word for truth is izioku. Izioku. Eziokwu. Izioku is truth. Izioku literally means good words. So good words are true words in the Igbo language. Even if the good word is an insult, right? Even if I'm insulting you, as long as it's true, I'm saying good words. Izioku, right? It goes with the discipline thing. So a person that onye jiofo, aka jiofo, you can, if you're an all fall holder, or like if you have a title like nze or ozo, you can no longer lie as a human being. You can't lie, right? You can't lie. You can't. There's a lot of like things that require a lot of discipline to hold those titles, especially nze. You have to have achieved a deal of success in your life. You have to have helped somebody else or others achieve success as well. Think about like a tree. A tree, we can say that a tree has reached some type of maturation. When the tree grows, bears fruit, and then the seeds drop from that fruit and start becoming other trees. So whatever it is you grew, let's say you're very successful in business, you have to now bring up others, young people, teach them how to do the same thing you're doing. Train them, give them the discipline and the lessons you have. As they begin to succeed, we now start seeing, okay, this person is an also, this person is an also, right? With that title, you don't lie, you don't eat certain things, you don't like a real nze, like a person who's locked into their nze. You don't eat food that wasn't cooked by your wife. The most liberal it gets is that wasn't served by your wife. You don't enter kitchens as an nze or an ozo. You do not enter kitchens. Um, and then like you don't like hang out with menstruating women. You don't. I'm trying to think of some other ones. You keep a distance from like menstruation, things like that. Um, just a whole bunch of different. Then of course you're an upstanding person in your community. That all these different things. So it comes with a lot of discipline. In also, for that reason, people opt to get the title they call chieftaincy, which is I think is Ipa Ipaeze or something like that, which is just like the regular what they call the regular chieftaincy. So people with titles, I'll say 8 out of 10 have the more liberal chieftaincy because they don't want to do all that shit. Addiction isn't can be an addiction in some form. Absolutely, absolutely. But that's what addiction is. So is it that your idea of God becomes your God, or crack, meth, pornography, sex? We're about to demonetize this video. You know, which one? What is the thing that you worship? In Igbo, we have an ilu that says it's the thing that you worship that kills you. Onye mmadụ na-efe na-egbu ya. Onye mmadụ na-efe na-egbu ya. Right? It's the thing a person worships that kills them. Right? It's the thing a person worships that kills them. So if you worship Allah, Allah is the one that's going to kill you. If you worship video games, that's going to kill you. If you worship sugar, that's going to kill you. If you worship uh, sex, that's going to kill you. It's what you worship that's going to kill you, right? If you worship your chi is the one that's going to kill you. So what you ask yourself is, what entity or what concept has the right to take my life? Because you will die. It's just what it is, right? What entity has the right to kill? Is it going to be this here Bay Area black tar heroin, or is it going to be chuku? And then you make your choice from there. Odumma. Rant on. I totally agree. There's no dopamine high greater than connection to one's chi. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But Americans, man, you American people have to get off this getting high shit, man. I don't. Oh shit! You guys have almost wiped out the ayahuasca plant from existence. You guys gotta chill the fuck out, bro. You can't feel good all the damn time. I'm just gonna gloves off on this one. I would like to see American people start becoming okay with the idea of feeling like shit. Right? I would love to see American people become okay with the idea of feeling like shit. Because we want to complain that the companies are putting all this in the food and they're putting this on the TV and yeah, because you're all addicted to feeling good at a ridiculous rate. That's Obanje behavior. That's why like when I explain Obanje, I always say that these behaviors are abnormal in Nigeria, but a lot of these behaviors in America, you'd be an influencer. You'd be it's cool, right? You guys, we have to get off this. Yeah, you guys, I don't do this shit. You guys have to get off this perpetual idea that you must constantly feel good. Do you know what happens when a baby's born at home, like in a real Igbo family, not all these church people? They'll chew up bitter cola or bitter leaf. They'll take bitter leaf and bitter cola, and they'll shove it in the baby's mouth, and the baby will, right, and even start crying, right? And the reason they do it is to show the baby that the world they have now entered is bitter. And that's just how it is. It's okay, right? There's this really nice Yoruba proverb about how you should just expect life to be painful. That's just what it is. I can't remember it, right? I want to say like something. Somebody's Yoruba. Please correct me, but something like "ayeye mole" or something like that, right? And I can't remember the exact meaning, but I remember there was a song that says it over and over. And I was like, I love the song so much. I want to figure out what it means. And my friend translated it for me. I was like, oh, that is poetic. But yeah, you could just this idea. That's where all this addiction shit comes. It's just at all times I can't just feel shitty, and that's just what it is. That's just okay. I feel like okay, it's a feeling. It comes and goes. It comes and goes. You know, roof, roofless humans. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I used to work at a whoa. I used to work at a homeless shelter, and it was a men's shelter, and it was a very enlightening experience for me as a person. But I became really connected with the with the homeless community in back in town, in the town I used to live in, and I remember it was an experience. But it's so funny that like when I hear all these people talking about unhoused persons, unhoused persons, I was like the unhoused persons I personally worked with and interacted with call themselves bums. Well, I've been bumming for 15 years. I've been a hobo for whatever that kind of thing. you know I heard one guy goes, this has got to be one of the funniest things I heard in my life. He's like, see, he was trying to break down the difference between a hobo and a bum. See, I'm a hobo. I move around the country. I work hard to get money. I go out there, I panhandle. I'm not like these bums that sit around here and watch TV and eat shelter food. I was like, oh, damn, there's a hierarchy. So, yeah, people talk about unhoused. They ain't never heard that shit in their life. They haven't heard that. Or maybe, hey, this was like 13, 15, 14 years ago. So maybe they're using those terms now, roofless person and all that shit. But yeah, when I was really in the trenches with the real, when I was going to Tent City, you guys know about Tent City, going to Tent City and chilling with the mayor of Tent City. They had a Tent City and they were gonna demolish it. And so I had to go talk to their leader, Ron, and and just like try to negotiate the terms of the demolition of Tent City, because I think it was bothering them that they weren't being respected, that they were okay with moving it or getting rid of it, but the fact that it was just like, okay, we're gonna demolish this, get out of here, man, this is where we live. Talk to us. This is our tribe. This is our town. So me and a coworker went and had the discussion with Ron, the president of Tent City. Yeah, yeah, you can. Yeah, of Tent City and that kind of thing. So let me get off the subject, man. But yeah, no, I was really in the trenches with the peoples, man. So yeah, you know. Hey, what's up? Try to stay off camera, okay? All right. So thank you. I was told I'm supposed to give birth to one of those. Okay, maybe I missed the context of that. For me, how do I communicate with a deceased loved one, such as a grandmother, for example? Okay, so our people see the dreams as a medium for receiving answers, and our people see that there are many ways you can ask a question that needs to be answered. Sorry, go ahead.
The moon is bright today.
Yeah,
It looks like it got a little bigger.
yeah, it looks really close, huh?
Yeah, it looks so. In the daytime, it looked just a little tiny bit smaller.
Yeah.
Why does it look like that?
I think when it's dark, the contrast of the light on the moon and the darkness of the sky will make it look bigger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Why is it so bright though?
I think it's because it's so dark and then the sun. But yeah, it's brighter than normal. I'll do my. Hey, I have to do this. So, thank you. Supposed to give one of those. Okay, somebody had asked a really good question to see. Okay, yeah. So there are many ways of asking a question, right? A visit to the altar and calling the name of the person and asking the question. Going to a body of water. Water is a portal by which people communicate. Speaking into the sun or speaking into the moon. That falls into eke, light. That is a means of communication. Um, visiting a grave. The visiting a grave, having a conversation. Um, holding the soil from a burial site or from like the soil from where the person, any place they've stepped before. So if you can confirm they've like stepped on that soil somehow. At home, it's kind of easier because like we can use the market soil because we know that everybody in the community has gone to the market. Everybody in the community has walked on the path to the market. The footpaths, especially for female ancestors, are good. They call them uzongwai, women's paths, right? So women are the ones that control the market, and they create roads over thousands and thousands of years of walking back and forth and back and forth. Then, of course, it turns into a footpath. So the footpaths are called uzongwai, women's paths. Um, so the soil from like a footpath that ancestor has walked, if you hold it, ask questions, take it to your altar, go to the river, ask questions, offer something to the river, and then just sleep it out, you'll receive something. When you're doing this, try to be barefoot. Try to make sure your feet touch soil the way that person's feet touch soil. There are many, many, many ways you can ask and receive, but that is one of them. And come back to me and let me know what your dreams look like if you try that. I'm very serious about this too. This shit works. So yeah. Oh, that's funny. So yeah, from the Western POV, people don't consent to their own existence. Oh boy, here we go. From the Western POV, people don't consent to their own existence. God simply makes you. From the Igbo POV, your chi makes a deal with creation. Yeah, to bring you into the world. What do you think? What do you think of this distinction? These,
Daddy,
person. Yeah.
you're supposed to give me rice this morning.
Oh, Nandi, I'm sorry. Can you ask your mom to boil rice?
She said she'll do that.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Bachuzo, bachuzo. So from that, those little distinctions will explain to you the actual differences in these worldviews. Pay attention to those small differences because they seem small, but they're huge and they send things in an entirely different direction. So if you consider the fact that your chi made you the way you are supposed to be, and in, let's say, the Christian worldview, you are kind of born imperfect, right? You are born imperfect. And in the Igbo worldview, you are born perfect. So a lot of life is, in the Igbo worldview, is returning to yourself, realizing yourself, actualizing yourself, right? A lot of African stories, like you'll take the Lion King, for example, which is an African story, don't listen to that Hamlet shit. A lot of African stories will deal with the fact that a person has to realize who they are, right? So Simba is this king. He gets taken out of his kingdom, or his dad gets killed. He gets sent into exile. He starts living like Timon and Pumbaa, Hakuna Matata. And then, Nala, I think, Nala comes and tells him, dude, this isn't who you are. You're a king. Then he has to realize he has to step into his all fall. He has to grab his all fall, go to the thing and take his kingdom back, right? It's realizing who you are. A lot of Christian thinking is you're at this point and then you're working towards something. You're working towards something. So when people ask me, what is the point of Odinala? What is the goal? What is the mission? That's not what it is, right? That's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about. It's a different worldview. Those tiny little differences make a whole world of difference how things are seen. That's why I was saying earlier we don't believe in external control. We don't believe in external. We don't believe in external control, right? That you can make all the laws you want, people will still do what they want to do, right? Now you can set a certain rhythm that everybody will dance to in a community, in a place or whatever, that kind of thing. Think about how black music is made worldwide. I always bring this up because this is what really, every year something new opens my eyes. This was like last year's realization. All forms of black music, all forms of music made by Africans, nobody tells anybody what to do. If I'm rapping, right? If I'm rapping, I don't go into the studio and the producer has a script for me to follow. And one and two and one and two and one. And then no, 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 I said E flat, E flat. No. The producer plays a beat, or maybe a group, a bunch of beats. I go, oh, I like that one. I like that one. I'm feeling that one. And then they play it, and then I just start saying whatever the fuck I want, right? And if I feature somebody, right? Let's say I got Kendrick Lamar on the track. I don't tell Kendrick what to say. He comes and he expresses the thing inside him, and I express the thing inside me, and the producer expresses the thing inside them, and they all comes together, and it worked. It worked. It's a Westerner would call that anarchy, but we understand that that's just how things work. That's just what it is, right? That's what jazz is. That's what R&B is. That's what gospel is. That's what ogene is. That's what dance hall is. That's what big band is. That's what there is not one form that is a person telling another person. It's all these people coming with what's already inside them. The audience will tell you whether it's good or not. Let them tell you. There's no rehearsal. There's almost never a rehearsal. There's almost never a rehearsal process, right? Everybody has that one cousin that can sing their ass off. That's their agon. That's their agon expressing itself. Nobody taught that kid how to sing like that. Everybody has that one cousin that can dance their ass off. Everybody has that, like my son. People want to say I taught him math. That kid just, it's in him. I'll throw any equation at him, boom, he throws the answer right back. Right? We understand that's how things are. So actually, I veered off the question. So Western POV consent. So in the Igbo worldview, you consent to exist. You consent to exist. But then you also have to think about in the Abrahamic worldview, you're trying to escape existence. You're trying to escape existence. So the world is a lesser state. The human body is a lesser state. Being born is a lesser state. Everything it takes to make sure that you get born are lesser states. And you will eventually escape it and ascend back to where you belong, which is with God or in heaven or however they express it, right? That's why even a lot of that's a Eurasian way. Even a lot of the Eastern Asian ones is, oh, you're in life. Life is suffering. Then you'll escape life and you'll never suffer again. We don't believe. We even believe that Allah more. The reason there's Obanje is because Obanje sees things in Allah Madu in the world we live in that they don't have in Allah more that they want to come and see. We believe that this.
I need this.
Okay. All right. We believe that we're already in. Nandi, why don't you get another charger? Go get another charger. Don't do that.
There's no other chargers that I can use.
Yes, there is. Go. Bachuzo. Nandi. All right, hold on. My son has really turned 6 for real. All right, so, what was I gonna say? So yeah, a lot of it is escaping the worldliness, escaping the world, getting out of the world, denying your feelings, denying who you are, okay, this is who I am, but this is what the doctrine says. This is who you are, but this is what the doctrine says, right? So when you believe that you consented to be here, this is heaven. This is like this is tell me an image, show me an image of heaven that isn't comprised of a bunch of shit that's already on earth, but in a lesser form or less of it, right? What do they say that there's what do the Muslims say that you'll go to heaven, you'll get like you'll get like giant concubines. They got giant. You can get a giant concubine right here, right? The houris. You'll have giant houris. I think it was that you're just I'm trying not to get this channel demonetized, but yeah, you're in heaven with giant chicks, and they're always satisfied and never complain or something along those lines. Yeah, I mean, if that's your idea of heaven, that bullshit's here too. If it's Christians, the road, they got gold roads, and the gates are pearly. They got that shit here too, you know. They got that here too, you know? This is paradise. This is it, right? The being in the world is the blessing. All this shit is amazing. All this shit is amazing. You know, one day you're not going to experience these things and you're going to really wonder why you wasted so much time worrying about small, petty, so on and so forth. This is why elders are important. This is why elders are important because when you talk to an elder, someone who's coming close to the end, they can express, hopefully express to you what actually is important and what is real and what actually matters, you know, having your family around, things like that. So yeah, person, thank you for that question because those small things pan out to create this very big different way of seeing the world. But yeah, in the Igbo worldview, you consent to being here. And on top of you consenting to be here, you are in here under an agreement with the earth itself to be harmonious with it. That if you are not in harmony with it, you're out. You know, that kind of thing. So from Western POV, you guys have actually shown me I always say that kind of thing a lot. So I don't know. I didn't know I did that when I'm explaining. That was such a dope question. I just had a son. Is there a way to find out who he incarnated from or help him realize it himself? Wow, Rasan, congratulations. So here's what I would advise. Who, if a son, so if there's a man that has recently passed in the family, more than likely that's the person. You can try the method of calling different names and seeing what happens. If your significant other also has the same understanding as you do, you can ask her. Those are three things I would advise. Or I don't want to say you can go to a DBA because that's a whole different rant. But yeah, you can go to a DBA if you want to. I'm not gonna let my opinion get in the way of the answer. So you can go to a DB if you want, but I would advise looking at the men who recently passed in your family, and so forth. You will also see as the child grows, like as they start growing, that they will behave like that person. So if there's like two people you have in mind, keep an eye on the characteristics of the child, how that child behaves, how that child sometimes walks, what this is also very most evident when they're like a child, like a baby, sorry, like a baby, a toddler, an infant. Pay attention to how that child acts, right, and what they do and so forth. My son acts dead on like my grandfather, right? He just the same person. My brother, a single person can incarnate to multiple children. My brother just had a son, same demeanor, same demeanor. My daughter incarnates from my grand aunt. And I wasn't super close to her growing up because she was a very old woman when I used to live at home, but she was like the family mystic. Let's call her that. She was the family mystic, and yeah, that kind of thing. My uncle who passed away when I was in Nigeria, he came back as my youngest brother and about three, four of my cousins, and they all act the same, but they act different from him. They're hard headed. They're hard headed. But in his lifetime, he played. Pay attention to this too. In his lifetime, he played everything by the rules, and he died young. Right? He did everything right. He did everything he was supposed to do, and he died young. So the theory in the family is that he wanted to come back this other time and do the opposite, which happens sometimes. So all of them, I'm not gonna put anybody's business out there, but all of them, are likely to headbutt a police officer every now and then. They're the wild ones of the family, but they are all come from the same person. They all have that character, that kind of thing. But all super talented, like he was in his life. He all super talented. But yeah, I'm here for Rashawn's question. Oh, Rasan, I'm saying the name wrong. I'm here. Okay, I was just saying, check if, yeah. So, you as the mother, oftentimes that person will visit you in dreams. If it was somebody you knew, oftentimes they'll visit you in dreams, often as the mother while you're pregnant, often, sometimes in waking visions or wake visions, awaking visions, visions while you're awake. But divination, if you have some names, we have a Debia on Patreon. So if you're on Patreon, just message me and I can connect you. Divination works. The Afa will figure out, either if you have a list of names, if I can narrow, or if you don't have names, if I can figure out it is a person on your maternal side, it is a woman on your maternal, it is a man on your paternal, that kind of thing. And yeah, so whichever way you guys want to do it, there's many, many, many ways to find out. Ndewa One, I finally caught a live in real time. Thank you. I appreciate this. Like Flyers, is this Mike? Is this Mike? Mike, I feel like we haven't talked in a long time, man. What's going on? Fun fact. It was somebody said a fun fact. I missed it. I'm just gonna keep going. All right. I think only New Yorkers are okay with feeling shitty. Yeah, maybe. Everyone else wants to feel as if they're in a utopia all the time. Yeah, that's very much the American way of thinking that I want to control everything and I'm going to control everything in my favor. I want to control everything and I want to control everything in my favor. So if I feel bad, I'm going to buy my way out of this feeling. If I feel good, I'm going to buy my way deeper into this feeling. And then next thing you know, you're under a bridge hooked on who knows what. So yeah, and I keep saying it's an American thing because if you look at the rates of drug use in this country, I mean this is just where the drugs are. This is just where the drugs are at. And then you want every time you have customer service, everybody has to treat you good. Every time you go to school, all the teachers have to treat you good. Everybody has to fucking clap for you and treat you good. All your friends have to treat you good. All your family members, you got a grade for all. This one is a deadbeat dad. That's a deadbeat dad. He gets a F. That's a F dad. So yeah, my dad is David, but I don't claim him because he's not good. I don't claim him. He gets an F. I don't claim him. Oh, that's my mom, but I don't claim her. She's not, she was a shitty mom. I don't claim that's her grade. She was bad. All your friends got a grade. This is a good friend. This is a bad friend. This is a good cousin. This is a bad cousin. All this stupid shit. Everybody's got a grade. Everybody's got everybody's just performing to make you happy all the goddamn time. You can't. I rem- you can't even say no to people in this culture. That was like I'm American, right? I grew up in this culture completely. I'm American to the bone, right? I like sometimes I feel like I get this place more than the average person here, right? And I bet the average person doesn't know that if you if you don't want to get arrested, you just got to be donating to the sheriff's campaign, right? Average person doesn't know that. I know that. I'm American, right? You can donate to the sheriff's campaign. He's almost never contested, always wins. If you donate $5, 5,000 in some counties and above, you get personal audience with him, and that's a hey, don't arrest me. One of them higher up people put me onto this shit. I was like, oh, only 5,000. That's crazy. Not that I have 5,000, but like, that's worth it. But yeah, they're gonna shut this shit down. People don't know that. So yeah, I'm very American. I get this shit. But in this culture, you like literally you can't even tell people no. You can't even say no to people because you're afraid of. I remember like even though like I grew up in this cult, one of the things that I till this day still have culture shock about is asking people questions because I don't know if their answer is real. So if I say, hey, do you want to go here? Hey, do you want everybody always says yes. Yeah, okay, I'll check my schedule. I'll think about it. And it's almost like, do you think I'm stupid that you got to say this to me so I'll feel good? Just fucking say no. What are you crazy? And then if you tell somebody, no, I remember my friend was like, hey, do you want to help me move? And I said, no. But this guy told me a few months later, he came back to me. He's like, honestly, bro, I was mad as hell at you. But afterwards, I respected it because it was like, you at least had the decency to say no. And I was like, yeah, dude, like, it's because I respect you. Why would I just, oh, I'll check. And then you're sitting here thinking I'm coming. And then, like, I send you, I lie to you. Oh, my grandma, oh, I'm sick. Oh, something came up. Oh, I fell asleep. Fuck that. No. You can't say no to people here. I'm actually, I actually had to talk to some of the students in one of the Kedu classes because they were coming with that bullshit ass American mentality, thinking they could just fucking everything now, 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 now. What do you mean I can't get the thing right now? Just making the whole room hot. So I had to talk to people, that kind of thing. So, um, I've decided to just operate when it comes to like things like that. We just operate like a Nigerian. So I'll do my thanks for giving me a chance to rant about that. I don't even know what the hell is about. Yes, I agree. I've seen people on TikTok have whole mental breakdowns over utmost minor shit. You can't criticize them because all people's feelings are valid. Like, okay, yeah, it's a feeling. Like if I scratch my back, this feels good. This feeling can't be my personality. Does that make sense? If I stop, I can't. Oh man, I don't feel good anymore. I don't feel good anymore, and then just sit there doing this fucking shit my whole life, right? Feeling good doesn't take much. Just take a warm bath. Fuck you mean you feel like, right? Just take a warm fucking bath. Take a warm bath. I don't. Right? They just what the fuck you mean? Go get a massage. Talking about you feel bad, dude. Like, what do you mean you feel bad? Active Odinani communities and gatherings in the U.S. Your Odinani community is your family. Your Odinani family, your community is your family. I'm a Dr. Umar. Your Odinani family or community is your family. It is your literal biological family. It is your family. There's no other Odinani community. As this thing becomes more popular, I know people are gonna start trying to like spring up their own mushroom cults and shit, and people just like cults. People like fucking cults, bro. And so they're gonna do it, and it's gonna be sad. But I believe Ugazi is real. I was just having a conversation with my mom. Ugazi is real. Ugazi is real. So I can tell you the truth, which is your Odinani community is your family. But I know that people don't want to hear that fucking shit. I know people don't want to hear that shit. I know people want to join a guy. You just wear white and roll around and fucking be goofy. But yeah, your Odinani community is your family. That's what it is. That's why you can't be talking about your ancestors and bypassing your actual siblings and parentage and children and going to go talk to some jackass in a auditorium because he's the Odinani whoop 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 kind of thing. Yeah, your Odinani community is your family. That's what that is. So hopefully that answer can be respected. But I come to find in 4 years of doing this, oftentimes when I give people those kinds of answers, which I'll always give them, they'll just go find something somewhere else. They'll go find something somewhere else. I just read a comment today on. I had to ask this person what the fuck they were talking about, and I usually don't snap at comments, but I was talking about Umwada, and the person commented, "No, that's not Umwada. My Dibia told me my Umwada are spirits that. What the fuck are you, man? I don't know. Let me leave it alone. Is there such a thing as seeing the future in dreams or visions? Yeah, I think so. I believe so. I believe so. Love yours and your brother's channel, Screwface John. Thanks for sharing his channel name. Yeah, Phoenix, thank you so much. Yeah, no, he's a born entertainer. It's in him. For Nikenga statue, what should I be looking out for? Um, it's not the statue that makes the Ikenga, it's the intention you put behind it and the feeling it gives you. It's not the statue that makes the ikenga, it's the intention you put behind it and the feeling it gives you. Now, once you have it and you begin to pour intention into it and pour your own energy and focus into it, it does get a power and a life of its own, and then it becomes it gets stronger. Then at that point, so forth. But it's not the figurine; it's what you put into it. It's what it does for you. It's what you feel about it. Low key, the desire for Eurasians to escape their bodies. Oh, we're going there. Their bodies in this life tells me they don't like their bodies. Creative force. You're talking about people that are allergic to the sun. Right? If a person who's allergic to the sun makes up a religion, 9 out of 10 times there's gonna be a process of getting the fuck away from the sun. Right? You might have to go into a temple. Are you seeing this? You might have to go into a temple. You might have to die and finally get away from that damn thing, right? That kind of thing. So I got my theories. You might have to cover your body in clothes. Cover your body in clothes. That has a lot more to do with skin tone than people are aware of, right? Anytime you see when the Egyptians weren't black, anytime you want to know who was who in the ancient world, look at how much clothes they were wearing. Because clothes is actually about protection from the sun. That's why the most densely clothed people are people from the Middle East. It's hot there. It's not like they're not wearing that shit. Oh, it keeps them cool. That doesn't make any sense, right? The most densely clothed people live in the Middle East, followed by Europe, northern parts of Asia. But it's a protection from the sun. That's what it is. So if you ask those people, what's the point of life? The point of life is definitely getting the fuck away from this getting out of the damn sun, and go into the temple, into this stone temple, go into that stone temple and worship, right? And so people want to recreate that when it comes to African spirituality. That's why when I know when something is fake or it's where the influence is coming from, where that influence is coming from. Oh, you'll go to Chuku. My son, my daughter, my wife are right here. That's who I want to go to. When I return, I want to see them again. Talking about going to Chuku. You said you ask this all the time, but I did go back to your old lives, and they are long. Never, I guess, is LGBTQ okay? Just yes or no is an adequate answer for me. Hey, listen, if you want to be gay, you don't need somebody from fucking 13 BC to say it's okay. I don't quit asking all the time asking me this. All the damn time. I'll make a video about it though, because I do understand why you're asking. I get it. If you can give me a minute, I'll make a video about it. So how about that? Okay? So when you say okay, do you mean that the bearded God of Abraham won't kill you? Or what do you mean okay? What do you mean by that? Because there's so much context missing that sometimes when that question gets asked, I wonder if the person is actually listening to what I'm saying. Right? What do you mean? What does that mean? What do you mean? Okay, will I go to Igbo hell? What are you asking? What are you asking me? You understand? If I asked you, is it okay to have ndi obo na ndi uke? You're going to say, what do you mean by that? And then I'll explain obo nuke, and you'll still ask me, what do you mean? Because cultural context, right? So is it will your parents be happy? On the rare occasion that you have African parents that are okay with it, yes. 9 out of 10 times they won't like it. Is that what you mean? I don't get it. I don't understand. And then what is the history of LG? What is the history of that? What is that? Do you know that those classifications are very specific to American culture? It's a very specifically, America's It has everybody's headstring, so now everybody has to adapt it. But those things are very, very, very specific, right? Like is a Taiwanese late or a Thailand a lady boy in Thailand, is that a trans person? Because if you ask them to say no, I'm a guy, right? So these things, it's not. I just can't give you an answer. Is it okay? It's almost like it doesn't that doesn't respect the topic, right? It doesn't respect the topic, and it's like if I get the opportunity to sit down with a 90-year-old elder, am I asking him if dudes were saying, "Oh, did you ever, is that what I'm asking him?" Right? Is this if when the topic is brought up, does it tend to hijack conversations because everybody wants to talk about sex all the time? Yeah. So I tend to be like, you know what, let's not do that right now because it's just what it's this. After I because I gave this much attention, I can. I mean, I won't do this, but if I had less integrity, I would screenshot you my personal messages. It will be what this channel is about, right? So I don't know what the question is. What do you mean? Is it okay? Because that means you think I'm talking about heaven and hell, and you're asking me, will you go to hell if you're gay? I'm not talking about that. I'm not is LGBTQ. Let me do this. Is LGBTQ okay in science? What's the answer? Is LGBTQ okay in science? That's actually the best way to ask that, right? Because I'm this is African science from African people. That's what I'm talking about. So is it okay in Western science? Well, that's not really how science works. Okay, that's the answer then. Maybe some scientists like it, maybe some scientists don't, right? Anyways, I don't need to justify myself as shit. Fuck that. I get this question a lot, and I tend to skip it, and maybe I'll give it its own video. But I worry that if I give it its own video, that is whether I like it or not, that is what my channel will become about. That is just what it's going to be about. There's going to be an avalanche of people that are against. There's going to be an avalanche of people that are for. There are going to be people bullying and antagonizing people, usually the against the for. There's going to be people taking liberties and going way too far on the for side. It's it and so yeah, let's talk about it because I get this question so much. I'll answer it, and it used to be more frequent, and I've began to notice I've actually caught one person ask me this question twice, and I've answered them on a DM. So I wonder when it's being asked, like, is this sincere? Am I sincerely being asked this question? Or is there something else going on? What is this? I don't know. I don't know. It's there's a lot of questions. You think I'm talking about heaven and hell. I've been talking about this for 4 years. So that tells me you're not listening, but you still think I need to answer your questions even though you're not listening. Or am I gonna go to Igbo hell if I'm gay? What the fuck is what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Anyways, yeah, so I don't even explain. All right, let's go to the next question. Early childhood is important because the child is still a free person. Yes. Hasn't learned to hide/slash fake. Yes. Having learned shame, all the shoulds. Yes. So there's an ilu that says, "Nwata bụ mmụọ," a child is a spirit. Nwata bụ mmụọ, a child is a spirit. And you get the most genuine expression of who that person is when they're a child. Watching two children grow, I can tell you that a human being comes out complete. A human being comes out complete, and the person both of my children were on the day they were born, the person they were in the womb is the person they are right now, right? My daughter would not stay still, just backflips and karate in there, right? That's who she is right now. My son just meditating in there. That's who he is right now. So yeah, it's you get that most genuine expression as a child. The ego hasn't developed yet. And that ego is a concept of self we develop to protect ourselves. And sometimes that concept of, or most of the time, honestly, that concept of self is going to deceive us because it doesn't grow with us. So I start developing an idea of who I am when I'm 6 years old. I can be 37, 38 years old, still thinking that's who I am because I haven't sat down and checked my ego. So before the ego starts setting in, you get a very genuine expression of who a person is as a child, as an infant. Now, over time, they will unravel and they'll show more of who they are and so forth. But you can see the seeds of it from when they are a child. So yeah, it is important. Here we go. I guess because okay, so LGBT is good, but not to the point of discussion. Gender and sexuality is important to Abrahamic religions and modern society. The grouping I don't give the grouping LGBTQ exists because in Christianity, all of those things were classified as degeneracy. That's what it was classified as. It was made illegal. People were in different times in history. Poor people that were of that designation, those identities and designations, were persecuted. They were punished. They came together and said, no more. But in order for us to do this, we have to do it together. So we're moving to. So if you don't have that history, that very specific history, the question doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, especially if you also don't have, again, back to the Christian thing, this concept of heaven, hell. This is how you be a good Christian, this is how you be a bad Christian. God's gonna kill everybody, and only the people that did the thing in the Bible, he's gonna save those ones, everybody's gonna burn in hellfire. If you don't have those concepts, and I have not given the slightest implication that the worldview I'm discussing has that, right? So yeah, if your family's cool with it, it's good. If you no, let me say your family. If you are okay with who you are, it's good. It's okay. It's fine. You don't need somebody from 15 BC to be like, oh yeah, 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 we fuck with that shit. It's cool. You don't think they were doing some gay shit back then? Right? It's a part of the human experience. It's just a part of humanity, right? It's a natural part of the human experience. There are people who, in this current context, you may classify as trans. That, like, I'll give you some people to look for. Look up Area Scatter, right? Area Scatter was a man who would be mounted by the spirit of a woman, and he would go around town as a woman, but dressed as a woman, live as a woman, and he would play music for people. He would play the thumb piano. There's a video on YouTube of him, right? But like, do I use like the U.S. designated fucking census? No, he's who he is. He's who he is. His community likes him. He likes himself. It's over. That's it. Is he gonna go to fucking Igbo hell? Like, what do you like? What are you asking me? What does that question mean? Like, I don't. So let's just ask these questions, and not like every question, but this specific one that literally people, I will ask me in a DM. I'll give them a thorough, and they'll come in the live chat and ask again, almost like they're trying to provoke something, or they're trying to like, I don't know. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's spicy for people. I know it's spicy. I know that like the social media, they use this to like bait engagement. I don't want that fucking engagement. You know what I mean? I said this would be a very interesting live because I've been ranting all day, so I don't. I'll do my. Yeah, I'm not like. Please just listen to what I'm saying. If you listen to what I'm saying, the context will make sense. It'll come together, right? It will come together, right? We have this tradition at home where women can marry women, but you can't classify them as lesbian, you know. Though I mean, some of them are, some of them are. People like people that are like homophobic will try to be oh no, they weren't lesbians. They were doing that because they couldn't have a child. So that's a pretty lesbian way to have a child, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Right? So I don't want like this like low-hanging fruit, internet ass, millennially kind of hyper online debate bro bullshit happening in my. I don't want that. If one person watches my channel and doesn't engage in all that annoying shit, like annoying ass 50-50 date, should which bathroom, what bathroom, all that shit requires the American context. Oh, is it okay to ride the pink bike? That's the girl bike. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I'm funnier than I probably am, but I enjoy it. I'm gonna keep being this way. So I'll do. I recently saw a video where a woman said their ancestors were responsible for addiction, not us. What are your thoughts on that? It just sounds like somebody saying stuff. How can your ancestors be responsible for addiction? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, kinda genetics, I guess, but I don't. That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand that. Sometimes you have to wonder what people mean when they say ancestor. Yeah, you have to wonder what people mean when they say ancestor. Because like I'm gonna be an ancestor to my daughter. Like she's not gonna smoke crack, but like I'm not gonna put it in her mouth. I'm not gonna put it in her. I'm not gonna give her drugs in the flesh. I'm not gonna give her drugs in spirit. So that doesn't make sense. Now maybe there are definitely families where people give their kids drugs. I had a friend in Houston. I had a friend in Houston that was like, "Hey man, remember when we were young and we'd get sleep or we'd be loud, and so our moms would give us a codeine and you pass out?" I'm like, "No." Like no, but yeah, some people give their kids drugs. So like if you're from that kind of family, yeah, then your ancestors are probably responsible. But if that's not a normal way of thinking in your family, then no. It's Mike. It's been a minute, man. Always good to see you, Mike. Ademma. Always good to see you. We don't know pleasure unless we know sorrow. Yes, Phoenix, thank you so much. I'm grateful for my past depressive episodes. Udo, that's a powerful statement. I am too. I am too. I am too. Because I'm content now and I love peace over extremes of joy and depression. Yes. Same. It's very necessary in order to grow. It's very necessary in order to grow. Tell people not to feel bad. Feelings are valid, but they're built upon. But what they're yes, feelings are valid. Thank you for that. So Phoenix Indigo says feelings are valid, but what they're built upon may not be, and it can also be valid. But the idea that some aspects of human existence are wrong and some aspects of human existence are right, and that there's only like one way to live and it's the way that's like constantly making you feel good, that's not realistic, and it's very extremist thinking that I think leads people down very dangerous paths. It also makes you just a big ass customer because that's what it is. Western society places feelings over truth or adequate feelings over truth. You know, I don't even think the society doesn't really care about your feelings either. I feel like this society wants you to be in your feelings, but it doesn't care about them. Because if you go to work and you're feeling angry, you can get fired, right? If like in I'm not saying Nigeria is perfect. Nigeria's a goddamn zoo, but Nigeria's nuts. but if you yell at a bus driver in Nigeria, he can stand up and slap you, and nobody's gonna be like, "Oh, you shouldn't have done." I mean, now they're gonna start because everybody's like on the America wave, but nobody's gonna be like, "Oh, because you're the driver, aka the slave, you have no right to show me how you're feeling or to respond adequately or make me feel bad," right? And so, a lot of times, not, it's kind of changing a little because I see all these videos where like somebody will be rude to the drive-through people, the drive-through person will be rude back, and people will be like, "You deserved it, you deserved it." That's good, right? But I don't think this place cares about your feelings. It doesn't care. But if you're in it, if you're lost in it, it helps with the structure that's over everybody's head that feeds off of them, right? It helps with that structure that's over. Oh, I'm not feeling too good. Hey, have you tried BetterHelp? Have you tried BetterHelp? Check out BetterHelp. Oh man, I I don't want to have sex right now. You don't have an erection? Come get Blue Chew. Like you're just supposed to walk around all the time with a fucking erection, I don't fucking you can't just chill, bro. Like, okay, maybe you're horny once a month, dude. Like it's not what do you mean dysfunction, dude? You just don't want to like oh what? You're not oh yeah, go and get Blue Chew. This the marketing structure, the marketing culture of America, which is the most effective, potent, brilliant marketing understanding of marketing and human psychology in human existence, is American marketing culture. Yeah, they feed off these things. They feed off these things. So it's not that they care. It's just that, oh, you're feeling like shit. Okay, bet. Check it out. There's a they'll put the chocolate in the they'll put like I think everybody knows this, but they put chocolate in the checkout aisle because when you're about to make a purchase, your cortisol levels and your stress levels increase, and when your stress levels increase, or chocolate can help you decrease that stress, so you now feel the urge to grab chocolate or grab sugar, and so they put those things right there so you can make that impulse buy. It's not that they want to heal you; they just know that that's when you're a sucker, right? That's when they can get your ass, So yeah. You cannot get to 256 without going through 16. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. I'm going to skip ahead because I'm way behind. I've just been yapping. So, how can we use Odinani to improve Africa? Oh, such a good question. Such a good question. So when we say things like improve Africa or like fix the problem of Africa, or in America they say fix the problem of black people, fix the black community, save the we say the same goofy stuff. It's better to say something specific, right? What's issue do you specifically want to solve? What issue do you specifically want to solve? And then you go look for the lessons and ingredients and knowledge from Odinani that will then help you solve that particular issue. I'll use one for an example. In Odinani, there is this understanding that, how I'm trying to find a better way to put it. I'm trying to think of I'm trying to think of an example. There's again, yep, just pick a specific thing. But I had one, and then it slipped my mind. I don't know why. I'm trying to think of one. Anyways, yeah, pick something specific, and then you solve it at that particular level, right? So, something as simple as having a free garden of herbal medicine, right? So Odinani, we understand that any ailment of the body has a solution outside of the body. That Allah gives anything that things come in twos, right? That a tree grows in two directions. So we know that anything your body encounters can be healed herbally. So you buy a patch of land, you plant medicinal plants in there. Anybody who needs to be healed can walk in there, grab what they need, do it. It'll call completely free, right? Because then it'll pressure the people who give the commercialized medicine to drop their prices, or you don't have to be too dependent on whatever the hell they got going on. That's one example, right? Integrating traditional medicine into the medical system, integrating the ethics of traditional medicine into that system, not overcharging, working with offal, those different types of things. Using offal to the concept of offal to build a cord, which is really what a contract is, but that's a whole different thing. To build a cord, to build union, to build a collective effort, to bring people together, to hold people accountable, for people to hold themselves accountable, that kind of thing. Industry, the concept of uzunanka, right? What we're calling the Igbo apprenticeship system, that's an Odinani concept, right? A person goes out and finds success, and then it is their duty as a person to go back to their community and pick the children who do chores, who run errands. The children who do chores and are well mannered and they're able to listen to people, to bring them and train them for X amount of years, and then at the end of their training, you open a business. You help them open their own business in a different town, and they open their own, or that kind of thing. It's a great way to do entrepreneurship. The concept of Isusu, right? So Isusu is this concept where market women, because the women control the markets. So Isusu is the concept where women, they have this in America too, but it's like illegal in a lot of states. I wonder why. So market women all contribute money to a pool. They all contribute money to a pool, and they take turns of who receives that pool. So that money, the reason that that money is important is because that money traditionally is actually how they made their profits in the market. It wasn't from selling the items. So they can now keep the items very cheap because they see the selling of the items as a service to the community more as than like a franchise or a business, right? So they I can sell you akara for 20 naira because I know that in 2 months I'm about to receive 50,000 naira, right? I can do this. There's a story of the origin of the market, and this is told by a community in Enugu. I can't remember which one. I think it's Ngwo, but I'm not sure. But it's the story of the Ngwo market. And the story was that in the beginning of time in Ugachi, people didn't know how to farm and they were starving. So people would see things grow and they would eat it. They would just eat what they can and then they would go back to being hungry. But one particular woman was very productive, very, very productive. And she would just grow things and grow things and grow things. And she was super generous. So what she would do was she would lay out all her excess on the roadside and people would come and take what they needed, right? And so the next time she would plant, she'd leave her excess. People would take what they needed. They would thank her. They would thank her. They would thank her. After a while, other women started to see that she was a role model to follow. So they started working hard like her, growing things in excess and bringing it to the front. And then people would take what they need and go home. Nobody's being charged. There's no such thing as, it's not a transaction at this point. And what ends up happening was the people realize that they need to keep this good thing going. They need to keep this good thing going. So what they started doing was, though they didn't have food, they would bring what they had in excess. So some people had excess fabric, some people had excess seeds, some people had excess whatever. They would bring whatever they had in excess and they would give it to the women to encourage them to keep doing what they're doing. And the women kept doing it and kept doing it. And the men in the community saw this and they respected it and they wanted it to keep going. So they wanted to contribute by protecting the women. So they started building stalls, roofs over the heads of the women in this market. And so they went to the land, or that this whole thing made Allah, the land, Allah, so happy that she spoke to the people. And she said that you women have made me proud and you women have made me happy, that if you can do this every Nkwa day, and the following community will do theirs on Eke, and the next one will do theirs on Urie, and the next one will do theirs on Afo, then we will keep this going forever, and I will bless you. I'll bless this community forever. And so that is the origin of the market. So in that story, there's a lot of lessons that can be incorporated into fixing situations in Africa, right? Fixing situations in Africa, in the Black community here in America and worldwide, anywhere, or just anywhere. And it just, I mean, shit, Chinese people can do this shit. I don't. Chinese people can do it, it's whatever. But there's a lot of lessons just in that alone. But the concept of Isusu, being able to have a pool of people that work together and, okay, we're raising this money and we're going to pay off each other's debts. I'm talking America right now. So we're going to pay off each other's debts. So every month it's your turn, it's your turn, your turn. Nobody gets their debts paid off until they've contributed at least $3,000, at least $4,000. So nobody just like drops their $5 donation and runs away. So after everybody's reached that point, that okay, it's your turn to now have your debts paid off. It's your turn to have your debts paid off. We can use this to do down payments for homes. Yeah. The thing I'm talking about is illegal. They made it illegal in this country. So wink wink, that kind of thing. But I mean, it's whatever. They can't do anything to me. But yeah, so something like that would be here in America, right? For just the challenges we're facing in America. And they already do it at home anyways, but we can now start shutting up these pastors that are keeping everybody poor and go back to our traditions that were actually moving us forward and actually in the present day make people successful and rich and able to do the things they want to do. So there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of concepts. Even the concepts, if you look in Odenani, there's a lot of the concept of jurisdiction is very important, right? So this is yours, this is mine, this is the way it's supposed to be. If I need to work with yours, I'll ask you, that kind of thing. A lot of that doesn't happen in Africa. Somebody will be a politician, a pastor, a governor, and run a brothel at the same time. It's insane, you know. It's insane. Or even sometimes like approaches to crime, right? Approaches to justice and law, approaches to infrastructure building. There's this video. It's like a British propaganda colonial video, Daylight in Udi, and this is when people aren't Christian, right? And so they're trying to build a road. And when you see what they're building the road, when they're building the road, they get all the men in the community out, right? And all the young men. And there's a person playing Oja, he's playing the flute the whole time. And the animation of their bodies, the way their bodies are moving, the spirit they're animated by, the fact that this community came together. Nobody said, how much am I supposed to be paid? What is this going to do for me? Everybody just said, the community needs this road. The person who plays Alja came, played the Alja. The people with strong bodies came with their strong, and they built the road, right? Boom, they just built that thing. And if you see the way they're moving, the way they're, you can't replicate that because, you know, we've sucked in the Western thing. So now it's, oh, I don't want to look like I'm poor, you know, I don't want to look like a bricklayer, I don't want to look like a road worker. I don't, that's not, I'm bigger than, I went to college, I'm bigger than that. I don't, you know, I'm supposed to be in an office with AC. I don't need to, all this shit. One of the things that the version of Christianity we got in Africa did was it took away everybody's personal agency. So now instead of solving a problem, a lot of people will start looking for miracles and looking for things to fall out of the sky. And we don't do that. Magical thinking doesn't, it's not what we're talking about in Odinani. Even if something magical happens, there's a severe degree of work that was put into that magical thing happening, right? Before somebody's awful begins to move things around for them, that person has poured intention into it for years, if not generations. Now something starts happening, right? So that magical thinking comes, and then a lot of people come over from the church with that magical thinking, thinking that I'm here talking about like superpowers and shit. That's another one that annoys me. My youngest brother used to troll my lives. He used to come in here and be like, "Hey, bruh, I don't know what you're talking about. I just want to know how to shoot lasers from my eyes." What's this guy? Like, just stupid shit like that. Hey, how do I make? You used to talk about touch and follow. This is a stupid thing they say at home where you touch a girl and she starts following you and that kind of thing. Hey, how do you do that? You know, just trying to be funny and stuff. But that's what people, you know, not everybody. Not I'll say 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10 people are talking about the same thing I'm talking about, right? Yeah, but you get the cowboys that come in there and they think I'm talking about like this same magical thinking bullshit where Jesus, please, please, I need woo, and then it happens. Oh, thank you, Jesus. It doesn't happen. Oh, damn it, the devil. Oh, damn it, the devil. Yeah. That's not what I'm talking about. So yeah, there's a lot of concepts in Odinani first. That's his science. It's how our ancestors solve problems. There's Ogwego. There's a science of money. There's Uzunanka. There's industry, crafting, all types of things. There's like that Isusu I was talking about, the market. All that's Ogwego. That's the science of money, right? There's the healing of ailments, medicine, that type of thing. There's a whole lot of solution. There's a whole lot in there, and I a lot of you guys have taken some of these things that we talk about, and you've like incorporated them in a really creative way in your life, or like for another person, or like started like an initiative, kind of guided by it. And that shit, like honestly, like it really touches me. Like when I see that, that's one of the main things that kind of keeps me going and um And actually, let me take that back. I think that even if nobody was here, I'd say, you know. So there's a lot of all this is solutions. It's again, the colonial project found a way to take our entire solution finding apparatus, which is what we're calling our spirituality, Odinani, our cosmology, our science, and put it in a box and tell you that that box is evil. That box is evil, right? That if you want to cure the issue of cholera, don't look at how your ancestors cured cholera. Wait for me to fly over from London once a year for the medical mission. And I will take that same medicine that I put in that evil box. I'll fly it over to London. I'll melt it. India, not even London. I'll melt it. I'll put a little food coloring in that son of a bitch, make it look pink, and I'll come back and I'll give you this pink thing that's in your backyard for free. And I'll charge you 30, 40, 50, 25, $120 for it. And you'll buy it and you think I did you a favor. You think these great, these kind white people came from America and they gave us this medicine and blah, blah, like a Pepto Bismol. You know, the original Pepto Bismol, that's nzu. You know, that's nzu. Originally they found us, they now make a synthetic one in a lab, but the first one they did was inzu. They call it choline powder. It's inzu. But if there's some people you'll give inzu at home, they'll start they're just shitting on themselves. So they have the diarrhea, you understand, but they're looking at inzu, and there's no pharmacy in their village, right? So they'll go to Aba, they'll go to Owerri, they'll go to Lagos, they'll go to Onitsha to go look for the nzu that they put in a package, in a plastic package with fucking food coloring, and they'll drink that nzu, and they'll, oh man, thank God for science. Thank God for science. Then they'll come start asking me about Igbo hell. Oh man, if I do this, will I go to Igbo hell? I don't, you know what I mean? You know, you know, So yeah, it's once we get over that. This is worldwide. Once we get over that fear shit, once that's over, because all the things we're not afraid of, we excel more than everybody else in the world. I'm talking about, I'm talking about umuajana. Once those things that we're not afraid of, for some reason we do it better than everybody else. So what if we just got all the fucking shit, you know? What if people weren't afraid of numbers and physics and shit, you know? Okay, so yeah, that was the answer to that. So weird. We hang our own righteousness and the person's desires. Yes, will we go to Igbo hell? Do you have peace following Igbo spirituality? Oh man, yo, I don't. I have lived a life that is fully actualized and fulfilled, and I there's not a single thing right now that I want in the world. Then I mean I don't, yeah, I've done it. There's not a single anything else I get is a gift, and it feels really nice, even when the bad stuff happens. And I've once you see you only need to feel it for a second, and you're good. You only need to feel it for a second. So I felt it, and so I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not. Let me say this: the only thing that makes me that I ever worry about is like my family's well-being, like just I'm like a normal person, their well-being. But at the same time, I don't fear those things. I've accept. There's an acceptance I have of things that people don't ordinarily accept, you know, and an understanding of where understanding comes from, right? And how fun it is to access that, and how rewarding it is to access that and to walk in that, and to be able to share it with other people, and then them sharing their own, right? There's an ilu that says Madubuchibe. Yeah? No, let me do this one. There's one that says Ibem Zimako, my peers show me ako, show me wisdom, right? So there's some of you guys that like when I say again, I'm gonna say 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10. I'll talk to you, and then you guys will come back with something else from your own experience, right? Like we have a group study tomorrow morning, and everybody's sharing, and then I don't like you guys are. I'm growing too, and so yeah, you just kind of just seeing what it is, and then realizing that the things that stand against us, the things that stand against the things like everything we're discussing, are small. They're small. They're not. I used to think that it was big, and they were big, and we're up against something big. They're small. It's nothing. You ever see a hurricane, right? You ever see a hurricane? Then while the hurricane's happening, you realize all this shit's kind of fickle. Like it's like, oh, you know, once nature happens, you realize that we're just playing in a sandbox, right? Once nature happens, we realize we're playing in a sandbox. And so it's hard for me now, like, with my understanding of people's spirituality, it's hard for me now to stress about the sand is scooped the wrong way, or oh the sandcastle fell, or yeah, it's just a fucking sand. And it's okay, it's fun. We're supposed to have fun and enjoy it. But that's the only relationship I have with it is enjoyment, is to enjoy it, you know? Even when it's some bullshit. you know. I do my. Yes, I'm aware it's American culture, and I do understand some degree that I'm being indoctrinated, but Christian God is the only one I know. Okay, I understand that. Yeah. So, if I ever start talking rough with you, that means I'm connected to you. I'm close to you. I feel what you're saying, right? It's so funny. I had a there was this I was talking to somebody, I won't say who or whatever. I was talking to somebody and they were like panicking because like of something about like rents, like that issues with like rents, they're going to be evicted, they were facing homelessness, all these things. And I gave them a ritual they can do for like powering their ikenga, right? So I gave him this ritual he can do, and he ended up and I gave it to him, and he kept like had a very like jittery kind of way of being, and then he kept coming with me with this, and I had to yell. I was like, "Hey man, if you don't get the fuck out of my face with this afraid of ghost bullshit." But when I start talking to you like that means that we're family. That means we're connected. I don't want to say family because some people that's too intimate, but like we're close in my eye, right? So I had to tell him, "Hey man, get the fuck out of my face with this afraid of ghosts bullshit." I had to fuck talking about oh, I don't know if I can appease this one, that kind of thing. So you know. But then poof, things started moving for him because I talked. So yeah, if I'm talking rough, it's love. That's how Nigerians show you love. That's how Nigerians show love. All right. I'm aware, and that's the only one I know. Yeah, so give yourself time. You'll understand what it is. If the sun, what does the sun think about you being gay? That's what you're asking me. That's what you're asking me. What does the sky think about you being gay? You know, our understanding of God is reality. It's real. It's not like a character in the sky that like is just red pill, red pill alpha. That's not what it is. What do the trees think about you being gay? That's what you're asking me. You know. So maybe I need to make a video about it, but I hesitate to make a video about it because it's one of these low-hanging fruit ass conversations, and it doesn't like I'm not saying that it is low-hanging fruit, but it's these conversations where bad faith actors love to engage in. And I don't need that kind of I don't care if the video gets 2 million views. I'll delete the motherfucker if that's what my comments look like, if that's what my DMs start looking like, because I make myself very open to my community. And some of you guys have my number, WhatsApp. It's not that if I start getting a wave of people that just want to talk about can I suck this, can I put this in there, I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Are you crazy? Will the trees be okay if I? Like, man, get the fuck. Like, bro, you don't listen to what I'm saying. I'm talking about real life. I'm talking about real life. I'm not talking about uh, 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 I'm talking about real life. You know, I'll do my. If I buy African drums, can I use that to meditate? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Mike. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, drums are used for. It's interesting too because I think that when you're introduced to Odenani from me, because my medium, because my gift, because of who I am, is to share and talk and teach. You may think that it's something that you sit down and talk about and talk about and talk about. That's not how it's experienced. So they say Omenala bunhine meme. Omenala is Odenani, but like in action, right? Culture. They call it culture. So it's something you do, and playing drums absolutely is a big part of it. Whatever it takes to get you into that state where you're connected to self, you know. For a lot of people, for almost all of our ancestors, drums were a big part. For all of our ancestors, drums were a big part of it. Music's a big part of it. Dancing is a big part of it. Singing is a big part of it, right? A lot of what you see, like if you're American, a lot of what you see in like the Black Baptist Church, the singing, the spirit of it. It's about feeling the spirit. It's not really about the doctrine. It's about that spirit. That's from Africa. All that shit. They don't do that shit in the Vatican. They don't do that in the Vatican. They don't do that in the Lutheran Church. They don't do that in all these. They do that in yours. That's you. You put that in there, and you thought it was from the church. That's you. That's you. And you did it at home. You did it in Haiti. You did it in Jamaica. You did it in South America. You do it in the UK every now and then. You do it in Canada, Crody. You know, hijacking and attention seeking. Yeah, yeah. Yes, but my fear is going to hell. Yeah, I mean, true. I'm behind on the conversation. So, hey, Siberia, thanks for the donation. I've been in the zone, so appreciate that. But yeah, true. I'm sure you're over the fear of hell with all these high quality rants I've been giving you. But yeah, I didn't grow up Christian, so that shit sounds goofy to me. I don't know. I don't. It isn't like I don't. I didn't grow. And then like I didn't. You gotta let go of that bitch assery. You gotta let go of that bitch assery. That's bitch assery. Don't do that. Talking about, oh, I don't want to go to hell. Like, what? Let me find out that there's not even a hell in the Bible. Half of the things people talk about aren't even in the Bible. Make a video about the gay topic on Patreon only. Oh, that's smart. That's smart because I feel like, no offense, but I feel like the the Patreon gang is a little more level-headed. Yeah, yeah, that's smart. It's a wall. It's a gatekeep. Good, 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 good. I like that. That's smart. That's smart. Please don't let that become the main thing of your channel. However, it's beneficial for people to know. Yeah, I know it's beneficial, and I know that like I have these conversations a lot on DMs on Patreon. A lot. It wasn't something I anticipated when I started, but I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for it. But I have these conversations a lot. So there's a lot of people I've talked to about it. Part of what was fueling my fire is that I saw people that I talked to personally log on here and ask again. And so I'm like, okay, you don't want an answer. What are you trying to do, But it would benefit. Yeah, I think it would benefit a lot of people to know. I think it is important. I think that a lot of people come to African traditions, for nationalism, for the idea of nationalism, right? Nationalism is very much based on the idea of using the past to make yourself feel good. Very specifically, using the past to make yourself feel manly, right? And when that happens, those people tend to be hyper anti-gay, homophobic, whatever the thing is. I'm trying to catch all anti-LGBT there, right? Because in their eyes, right, still Western view, but whatever, they're just using this to make themselves feel a certain way, and they want to erase the things that don't make them feel that way, right? So one of the reasons it just having that topic, just talking about it, whatever, is that I don't want to deal with those people. At the same time, there are people who have drank the the hell out of the American ass Kool-Aid, and they cannot understand anything outside of their specific cultural context and will never have enough context or emotional stability to have a conversation that does not pamper them or favor them or reflect their already Western view. You understand? These are the two people that are asking me these questions or that get animated by this conversation. You understand? And I don't need that. I don't, it's a distraction. Look how much I've talked about this already. You know, you know? It's not that the topic isn't worthy. It's not that the topic doesn't deserve time, but sometimes you have to try to see it from a bird's eye view of how people behave, right? And I don't want that to be it will become the topic of the channel. People are just dying. They're 4 years just asking me same people asking me the same over and over and over. Yeah, that's what they want to hear. You know. There's some people. Anyways, let me not do that. So, Igbo Shrine page said that if someone is LGBTQ, it's taboo and against Igbo. Well, that's then go ask that person what they said. Go ask that person. I know how much work I put into giving you the absolute most accurate, most accountable account of all this shit. If you keep coming to me with Udok, I said, chick, I said, this one said, that one said, man, when does it end? When does it? Oh, well, this person said this. Go fucking watch that person's live then. The fuck? What are you talking about? I live this shit. I've been living this since 1990. What are you talking about? You know? All these people that can't, I'm maybe not say anything. Yeah, they're talking about this one. Go ask that person. Oh, this person. Go for, make the shit make sense. How about use your brain to make it make sense? Make it make sense in your brain. Which element of nature gets mad when you go do your little thing over there? I can't say too much, my son's here. When you go do your little thing, which element of nature starts crying? When we say Allah, what do you think we're talking about? Some ghosts? Right? But at the same time, there is a lot of people are trying to put up an outside of, I'm telling you right now, a lot of people are trying to put up walls because they perceive the American conception of LGBTQ as corrosive to what they've got going on. So they try to put up walls to keep it from. That's how you're getting all these like anti-gay bills that keep popping up, right? That keep popping. They're pop, 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 pop. They're trying like, whoa, there's a flood of something, and they know whatever the hell is going on in America is going to happen here in waves, right? So I don't need a situation. If I have this group talking about elements of this group talking about that having families is bad, hey, bruh, families is how we pay medical bills here. Wall, keep that shit out. Don't. And the people saying they're not gonna think outside their context, right? Not gonna think they can't do. They're not gonna do that. I remember when they were trying to explain to Charlemagne what an Afro Latino, you know. And so yeah, man. It's a big ass conversation. But if you guys need one answer, I'll give you an answer right now. But I like the idea of putting the question on Patreon, where everybody there is very level headed. So I'll do more. Okay, true. So true. You made me rant for like at least. You have occupied at least 2/3 of this damn conversation, and you're now in capitals telling me you believe in the Abrahamic God. Then you're going to hell, nigga. You're going to hell. You know, that's all it is. You're going to hell. I don't know what the fuck. What do you want me to say? Are you a Debia? No, I'm not. Yeah.
What's that bug?
I don't know, but a lot of bugs like light like that. So if you stay there, you see a lot of bugs. Yeah, you're going to hell, bro. I don't. What are you talking about? It's wasting all the time talking about I believe in the Abrahamic God. You're going to hell then. I don't. You're doomed, bro. I don't, look how much. Do you see? Okay, perfect example. You guys see what I'm talking about? Perfect example. Don't. That's why it's called Ask Me Almost Anything. I don't, after all that time wasted, well, I believe in the Abraham. Bro, you're going to hell. Forget everything I said. You're done. You're cooked. Hey, you better go dip your head in that holy water. Hey man, you gotta go dip your head in that damn water. Hey, what the fuck you mean? So after all that ranting and raving and trying to just be understood and try to understand, it goes in capital letters. I believe in the Abrahamic God. Hey, boy, Allah don't like that shit, bro. I don't, fuck you mean it. Oh shit. All right, back to the oh my god, dude. Oh yo, I'm this nigga's a whole Jehovah's Witness. Yo, that shit ain't even as funny as I think it is, dude. Hey, bro, you're cooked. Oh shit. um. Okay. Okay, I see there's some fighting going on. Yo, that was crazy. This message is held for review. Do I want to click it? That's I think Boris is crazy. Vertical integration. Siberia, thank you very much. I just saw the official notification for your donation. I appreciate it. Oh, yo. I hope you guys got a laugh out of that, man. Okay. I just ranted for like 3 hours. This nigga said, hey, bruh. Let me be more specific. I know I'm going to hell. I just need you to say it. Like, what? What do you mean? Yeah, dude, you're cooked. I believe in the Abraham. Okay, then you're fine. You don't like that shit, bro. Email. Oh man. Oh, this is about to get. Oh, it's ridiculous. My nose started to run. Yo, hold on. I hope you guys see the moon. All right, yo. Nose about to start running. I'm gonna lose sex appeal points. Do you need divination to access? You don't need divination to access. Man, creative force, you are a G. Thank you. I love taking Pepto Bismol as a child in the 80s. That's hilarious. Uh, Caribbean spirituality was placed as being a religion of synchronism since most Caribbean spiritualities mix Abrahamic principles, God, and all that stuff. Yeah. My son just came out here and fell asleep. Yo, 21 people are watching. Can we give this man 21 likes? You know what I'm saying? Hey, we got 31 people in here watching me laugh and have my nose run and laugh at True going to hell. Hey, get them likes up. Let's go. Hey, we're turned up tonight. It's not even a full moon. Oh, shit. Energy. Caribbean is West Africa. Yeah, very much so. Uh, if I'm talking rough, that's love. This is universal. Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, sometimes I want to be like, sometimes I'm like, hey, man, we're black, man. Knock this shit off, you know? But I don't think people know what that means, you know? Like when people asking me like, oh, what's the right way to talk to an answer? The answer is, hey, dude, we're fucking black. What do you mean what's the right way to talk? Like, you know, the fuck? What's Well, people don't know what I mean by that because I have a different understanding of it. I know what it really is, you know? You know, like here's an example. Like, you know, like in a lot of cultures, they always have like a dance, like a cultural dance, and then like the cultural dance has like there's a specific way to do it, and there's these steps and shit there. But like everywhere you go, you see black. You do your body does what the music says do. That's how we dance. So if you say, "Oh, how do you dance the Igbo way?" Man, just fucking dance. What do you mean? I remember this. I had an epiphany. I had a friend in college. She was from Afghanistan, and they were playing like Afro beats, like Wizkid. And she comes up to me, she's like, "Hey, how do you dance to this?" And I was like, that was such a weird question, but it hit me. I was like, "Oh wow!" Like, you know, like she thinks this is like what's that shit the Ethiopians do? The fuck, yeah, she's like, oh fucking, you know, she thinks it's like like the kind of Eurasian concept of dancing. It's like and one and two and one and two and one and two. So like the answer to her, like, hey man, this is black people. Hey, the fuck, we're black. You know, is the answer to a lot of things, but I don't think people know. One day, I hope more people will understand what I mean by that, so I can just say it because. A lot of these long ass answers can be equated to, "Hey, we're black, man. Just what the fuck you talking about, man?" I don't. I thought the same. Talk to your friends that you calm down. Facts. Okay, bad faith actors, those questions because they want the listener to imagine visualize them. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hell is a tool to escape accountability and self determination. Yeah, it's a hell of a tool, ain't it? The devil will get you. Be careful. Okay. Oh, yeah, I made a video on Instagram about the like if you come into and I'm not just talking about Odinani, but if you come into any African spirituality and there's a villain in it, your concept of that, there's a villain that you're still doing Christianity, right? You're still doing Christianity. Because like who's the villain in science? Right? None. This is science. So oh man, I'm tripping. So yeah, just things like that kind of help people kind of understand a little bit more. Hey, bro, you ain't got to pop off on me. I'm just trying to add. Okay, I think you guys are. So, okay, so I think you guys are having the same kind of fight that I don't like that. Like I don't like. I know like online they they tell you like spell something wrong so that people will come and correct it in the comments, and gonna increase your engagement. I don't want that fucking engagement, bro. I don't want. I look, hey man. I want to come in as a reasonable adult who's actually sincere about what's coming out of their mouth and trying to learn and trying to grow and all that stuff. That's what I want to deal with. Talk about fucking, yeah. I don't need that kind of. I don't need all this bit. I think, anyways, it's my fault. Your laugh is wearing me. Yeah, you man. Oh, I was actually clarifying someone else. Man kept asking questions. Trust me, I'm not an idiot, but I'm actually laughing with you. Hey, okay, cool. You know, it's all love. It's all love. Okay, I'll show that. That's not wrong with that comment. That's hilarious. I should have tagged the person's name. It would have helped the confusion. I'm not an attention seeker. It's all good. It's all good. It's all love. It's all love. If I'm actually mad, it's a whole different situation. No, I can lose my temper for real. Ikengas are expensive as hell. Yes, they are. Uchechi the wise. Uchechi the wise, the ancient one. Udo one there. Udo one there. Is it possible for someone to steal your energetic signature? I think they can sap from it, but they can't steal from it. So it's like it's something that comes from your chi at all times. So somebody can extract from you, but it's always gonna keep coming, and that kind of thing. But yeah, people can extract from you, but I don't think they can steal it. Though some DBOs will say that you can steal it. So that's a philosophical argument. I think that you can extract, but you can't take. You know, some people are vampires and they'll take and take and take and take and take until you're drained, and that makes them stronger. Some people are not like literal, like, I mean, some people are Nosferatu ass vampires too. Funny enough, there was a DBA that told me that there's a way you can create a vampire, like vampires are real. You can make somebody into a vampire. And he told me how. He's like, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna share this. Like, yeah, I completely understand. But yeah, it's real. There's some weird shit out here, So I'll do my. Hey Derek, with getting the stone from the river, could it be from an area floods that I know floods? It was just low. Uchechi, maybe I'm not understanding your question, but yeah, maybe I'm not understanding your question. So oftentimes, I think you're talking about Ogun, the concept, the Ogun stone. Um, I have seen people go outside and pick up a random stone and say, "This is going to be the Ogun. We'll use this for Ogun." So it does. It's not that deep, but oftentimes people will use river stones, like the ones that have been smoothened by the river. So if that's what you're describing, it's fine. But honestly, any stone works. It's what you infuse into that stone, or how you use that stone, or how you understand that stone, rather than what the stone does itself in this context. Okay. Shout out to Caesar. Villains of science is mysteries. I don't think the villain of science is mysteries. I think mysteries are or opportunities for science to grow. I think that's the field that science grows in. If mysteries run out, the growth of science runs out, if that's possible, but it'll never stop. So, while it's a pursuit of mystery, it's not the enemy, right? It's like men pursue women, but that doesn't mean the woman is the enemy of the man. It's one of the things that just motivates science to grow, you know. All right, our source material. Thoughts on polygamy in the Western world as an Odinani practitioner? Seems it's easier to have a baby mama than a second wife. Yeah, yeah, this society, the West is very, very anti-polygamy. Um, is very, very, very anti-polygamy. Um, I don't know. I mean, what's the question? Like, what are my thoughts on it? It's cool. I've never tried it. I've never tried it, but yeah, it is easier to have a baby mama than than to have a second wife, because there's like egos and things like that. I don't think, when I was talking about earlier in the beginning, I was talking about this concept of being a man and your manpower and your man. You have to be really in your okay. You have to be a man for real to run a polygamous household, right? And it's not a matter of you're just like in for I don't know how to explain it, but you have to be whatever the women identify as a man plus what you actually know at a very high level for that to work. Because if you don't have, you're not vibrating like that, if it's not on that level, they're gonna they're gonna tear the whole hey, I will let you know right now, like in Igbo culture, polygamy is like extinct. It doesn't exist. And it really isn't because of Christianity. It's because people just kind of notice that most polygamous families don't work out. Like there's a lot of issues. They break apart, you know? They break apart. There's a lot of issues and that kind of thing. And so it kind of just died a natural death in Igbo culture. But like to pull that shit off, you got to be really in your deen, as the Muslims would say. as far as being a man. And then, of course, there has to be a natural cultural understanding of that, which is hard to do in the West because marriage is based on love here. And the idea in the West is that you can only love one person like that, which is real, right? There's a basis for that. It's not false. If I say something's from the West, doesn't mean I'm saying it's wrong. So there's a basis for that, right? And that idea makes the idea of polygamy a little wild. It doesn't make any sense. And then Westerners don't really emphasize procreative relationships, right? So, like, the point of a relationship is not always to have children, right? It's not always to have children. Whereas in more like African, more ancient traditional societies, that's the entire point. So when you have that as a pretense, things like polygamy kind of become more natural, they make more sense. But if that's not a pretense, it's hard to make that argument unless you got some weird shit. Unless you got like some brother polite shit going. You're just using big words to confuse people. Right? But those women that were following brother polite, the thing he was very he had a direction he was going, and he was locked into it. And he was locked into it. And it was obvious, and that is attractive to women. And if they see that at a high level, they're okay being the third, fourth, fifth wife. It's cool. That's what they're attracted. They're Women are attracted to the spirit of a man, right? The spirit of a man more than the physicality. The spirit of it. The physical is still important, obviously. It's very important. But the spirit of a man means a lot more. You know, that's how you get these. Anyways, let me leave that alone. But yeah, so that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know if polygamy is. It's okay. It's cool. I don't have a problem with it. I don't see anything wrong with it. If that's what your chi calls you to do it. But it's like at home, like people who have actually seen it in large scale pretty much unanimously say that it's a recipe for chaos. It's a recipe for chaos. Because what about destiny swapping? Yeah, some DBS say that's possible. I don't think it's possible. My aunties like to gossip about witches from our village. I now wonder, are they witches just traditionalists that don't like people? Yeah, that's a good ass question, man. That's a good ass question. Or, I don't know, a person. Not intentional, but just over time, force being present. Something. Okay, I don't understand this. What spirit comes to you as a young, beautiful woman? Oh, okay, here we go. Or an old woman that leans forward. Oh, wow. Merrick, wow. Okay. So, Merrick, wow, 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 wow. So, spirit that comes to you as a young, beautiful woman or an old woman that leans forward. The spirit of the old woman is Aro Binago. If it's an old woman that you don't identify, or sometimes she'll come as like an ancestor, like let's say a grandmother, but like there's a different spirit animate. Maybe she's looking at you like this. That's Arobinago. So I have a video on Arobinago. I would check that out. I've never heard of Arobinago coming as a beautiful woman, but it's possible. It could also be a spirit wife. Spirit wives will come at you as a beautiful woman, that kind of thing. Um, but if it's the same spirit, I don't know. It could be Arobinago. That sounds like Arobinago, right? Arobinago is the spirit that it is the consciousness of Earth. It is the mind of Earth. It is the agon element of Earth. It is the feminine agon. It is feminine wisdom. It is wisdom from um, creation, the divine mother. And so her wisdom distills in the form of a stern woman, often of a stern old woman. What's actually funny is in Igbo culture, the idea of bending forward is femininity, is being feminine. So when you're writing in Sibiri, if you do like a straight line that's like this, that's male. If you do a bending line, it's female. And in traditional lines, in like when you see like Igbo people dancing. Any dance, any, let me do this, watch this. Any masquerade that's bending to dance is a woman, even if it's a man inside there. Any masquerade that bends is a woman. Any masquerade that's straight up is a man. And so any dance, like for example, I remember one time I was dancing when I was like probably like 18. I was dancing and I was bending forward, and this lady came and straightened my back. I was like, oh, okay, my back. And she goes, "You're dancing like beanie people." And I was dancing like beanie people. I was like, okay, I'm tripping. So in Igbo culture, men dance straight up, women dance. Now there's some like you see like there's this Igbo dance they do like where they bend. That's a woman's dance. I don't know. That's a woman's dance. A lot of young men are doing. They don't know better, but it's a woman's dance, you know, or it's a feminine dance. Let me say that kind of thing. So, but yeah, that bending thing is related to the concept of femininity. So a lot of feminine spirits have this idea of bending, like for example, the spirit of the market, right? When the market opens, it's said that before the sun rises, you'll see a woman sweeping the market, and she'll be bending down to sweep the market, that kind of thing. And then the sun starts rising, and then the thing starts. But I've never seen her, so I don't know. Not brother polite. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My cheek. Thanks for the statement. I'll do them. Okay, I don't know what to say. It's a noble mission to take up. You will remember them. Man, creative force is that dude. What is the Igbo form of divination of cowries? I don't know the name of it, but it won't be too different from like the voodoo, the Yoruba, all those. It won't be different. It won't be too different. But I've seen it before. I've only seen it like online. I've never seen it done in person. And so I've never heard the name of it before, specifically the one where you cast the calories and so forth. But it's there. It exists. It's there. Um, the divination that I'm well versed in and that I intermediately decently versed in is like apapala, the one with the ropes. The rest of them I don't know too well. Even like for example, Uchechi. I'm gonna put your business out there. Uchechi's in our traditional medicine class, and you guys just learned how, or you guys I think last week learned how to do divination with like a cola nut, like the inside of a cola nut, and so forth. I don't know how to do that. I don't know. I wanted to watch that. I need to go back and watch the replay, but I don't know how to do it. So I'm not outside of Apapala, my knowledge of divination systems gets more limited, but it exists. It exists. So, wait, somebody said, ew, no, he's not. Anyways, let me just leave all that alone. Any videos on coral beads, ivory, drew significance, and all that? I haven't made any videos on it, but I can share. So all of those just signify wealth. They just signify. It's just like it's just flossing, flossing. I know. I can't fake it like what you. Anyways, yeah, it's just showing off. But like oftentimes when you take like for example the Odu title, the Odu, which is a title that women take. It's a women's title. You're given ivory neckwear, ivory bracelets, and ivory anklets. Anklets doesn't do it justice because they're like big and heavy, so they're not like anklets, like some big ass bars of ivory on your leg. How about that? So wearing ivory is a big part of it, and then an elephant tusk that represents the Odu. There's a connection between bone and the feminine in the ancestral understanding. A female ancestor, like so, indiche gets used as a catch-all for ancestors, but it specifically means male ancestors. So sometimes you'll run into people who say that women can't be ancestors. That's not true. Women can't be indiche. Indiche are male. Ndi oppo, the word for female ancestor is oppo, oppo, right? Ndi oppo. It literally means bone. It literally means bone, right? So there's this idea that the bone is a feminine concept, that bones are healed by the earth and the feminine elements of nature. So, for example, I always tell the story of my brother whose leg was broken when he was an infant. Um, we took him home. We did a ceremony. We buried his leg in the earth for a couple of days. They brought his leg out and he started walking, right? So, all those things, there's a connection between bone, earth, woman, feminine, all those things. So, ndiapo. So, oh, when you take the Omu title or the, not Omu, Omu uses coral. When you take the Odu title, which is a woman's title, it's like also for women, but that doesn't do it justice. That kind of minimizes it. Uh, there's a lot of ivory going on, ivory, that kind of thing. But it's just jewelry. It's people use it to flex. So I don't know. Significance of color in Odinani. Different colors do different things. We primarily work with the colors you see on the Congo cosmogram, so red, yellow, black, and white, with all of them having their differences and their market day correlations and so forth. But guys, I think the questions are running out. I really needed that laugh, by the way. That was very cathartic. There's some things that I was a little stressed about, and I got it off my chest. So true. Thank you very much for taking us down that rabbit hole. Uh, the difference between voodoo and voodoo is location. Over time, words change due to the introduction of the concepts. Hoodoo to me is all, yes. More closely related to Igbo. Yes, hoodoo is, I see that too. And it was actually, it was let me call them the hoodoo community. It was a hoodoo community that came to me and said, hey, the stuff you're talking about is hoodoo. Come check this out. And then they sent me documents and, had conversations with them um, and so forth. And then I saw that there was a very, very loud connection. So yeah. What's the importance of meditation? Meditation, igachi. Meditation, anything that brings you closer to your chi, like in a meditative practice, is igachi. Anything that allows the process of spirit mounting, like shedding a spirit, bringing another spirit in, is igamo. So meditation goes in the category of igachi. It's just silencing yourself so that you can hear your first voice, which is your chi, right? So that you can feel your original feeling, so that you can have your original awareness. You can see things with your original eye. Meditation's a good way to do it. Walking is a good way to do it. The current DBA that we work with on Patreon, he uses walking. Walking is a good way to do it. Dancing is a good way to do it. To do both, igo mo and igochi, that kind of thing. So meditation is a practice. We call that umendo. The breathing of life, breathing in life, right? The idea of umendo was that the original people in Ugaka in the first world age were light beings, and they were able to they were able to sustain themselves by breathing, by breath alone, by air alone, taking in and taking out, the way we eat food. So they can just do that with air alone, right? And so returning to that original principle by way of just breathing, right? Of just breathing helps you return to your original principle and so forth. So it's all good, Merrick. You got really good questions. I appreciate it. Wearing primarily black or feeling only comfortable in black have any significance? I know that in Odinani, you don't, or in Igbo culture, let me say, Igbo culture, you don't wear an all black outfit in Igbo culture. So you'll never see somebody wearing black from head to toe, traditional wear in Igbo culture. You can wear black and then offset it with a red hat, put a little handkerchief in your pocket, that kind of thing, or do like a dark gray, but you'll never see somebody wear all black. I think that it's something, there's something ominous about it, but I couldn't give you a good answer. It's not something I know. Can coral be worn? Yeah, it's just jewelry. Yeah, it's just jewelry. It's 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 just jewelry. Yeah, it's gold. It's gold in that region, right? So yeah, coral can be worn. It's not a big deal. Real coral is expensive as hell, though. I don't know. Is there a good book to read on water spirits? There's one on Amazon that I have on my to buy list, but I couldn't tell you. Okay, here's one. Um, I can't say her name. It's actually a Dutch white woman or a Dutch white woman that wrote it. She went to Oguta and she wrote about Nemiri, and because the Nemiri veneration culture is very powerful and alive there. And so she wrote about it and just shared her thoughts. Janine Blissé or something like that, Jaleel Blissé, and I think the book is like something like "Water is Supreme." Water is supreme. Uchechi, if you can remind me, like message me on Patreon. I'll find the book for you. That's the only one that I've read excerpts from. There's excerpts of it in the in the folder in the memory folder, but just a book on water spirits alone. I've never read one, but I that's the one I'm aware of is hers. How closely connected are Ifa and Odinani? It's like taking it's the same algorithm used for different purposes, prioritizing different things. Okay? But in all reality, from my view, they are more similar than they are different. And the differences are very understandable because they deal more with geography and general cultural mentality. So Odinani, for example, like the Yoruba tradition has the concept of the Ori, right? The Igbo have the concept of the Chi. Same thing. They're the same concepts. I think, anyways. Maybe there's things about Ori I don't know, but from everything I understand, they are the same concept. But to Igbo people, the Chi is more of the emphasis. In the Yoruba tradition, from how I'm perceiving it and how it's being presented to me, the Orisha are more of the emphasis. The Orisha are parallel to the Abara, which are not that strongly emphasized in Odinani. Like we understand they exist, we go to them for specific things, but you're not gonna have this like it's not that's not the big idea, right? But a lot of that just deals with how the two cultures just process and reason things. It's not that one doesn't. So anything we believe the same things, but certain things are more important to one than another, one over another, and that kind of thing. But at their core, not much difference. You know, more similarity than difference. I think big there's a bigger emphasis on like personal achievement when it comes to Odinani. I think there's a bigger emphasis on personal achievements, and I get the sense that Ifa is has more of an emphasis on like veneration, right? On veneration and that kind of thing. So, but if you understand both of the cultures, like if you spend time in West Nigeria and East Nigeria, you'll be like, oh, okay, I see why this side would focus on this and that side would focus on that. But ultimately, the same thing. The same thing. Oh yeah, that's mean. It's not 100% black outfit. Yeah, yeah, they don't do 100%, but I don't, I don't think a color can do shit to me. I don't know about you, but do you know anything about the ages and the Igbo philosophy on it? Yeah, I made a video on the four world ages. So there's four world. I'll be quick because I'm getting tired. There's four world ages. There's Uga Aka, Ugachi. Manifestation is real. Right when I said that, my body said we're asleep. So there's four world ages. There's Ugaka, Ugachi, Uganwu, and Ugazi. In fact, I need to sleep. I have a group study tomorrow. Each of these ages represent different eras of what we can call human existence. So in the first world age, we were light beings. We were thought forms. We can travel from Ubichuku to the pedestrian terrestrial earth just freely, that kind of thing. We didn't need to eat anything that we needed. We would call Chuku and Chuku would give. In the next age, the umbilical cord gets cut. I'm using that term very, very deliberately. The umbilical cord gets cut, and now we are in Ugachi, where we have to now, instead of feeding from Chuku, we feed from Allah, the earth, right? And we have to figure out how to live on her and receive from her and be one with her and that kind of thing. And that's where a lot of what we're now calling Udinala gets developed is in Ogachi, though it carries over things from Ogaka, such as the Oji, such as just things like that, the Alpha language, Oji, um, and so forth. But things like Ofo, and so they come from Ogachi, right? So Ugachi, we start learning how to live with the earth, how to heal ourselves, how to feed ourselves, how to fend for ourselves, how to understand. So if you listen to a lot of Igbo folklore, there's a lot of them that'll do this thing where it's like Chuku was giving us everything, then all of a sudden we had to figure it out. We were getting everything from Chuku, and then all of a sudden we had to figure it out. In my next video, I'm gonna share one of these stories. It is the story of the coming of how the Awful was found, how it came to be. And so this is Ugachi. And we reach a level of mastery in Oganwu where not only do we understand how to live with the earth, but we've reestablished our connection with the sky by way of the sun, Anwu, the sun. So in this era, people who are known as the children of the rising sun emerge among populations. And these people contribute to what we call civilization, right? These are the great prophets of the past. These are the great minds of the past. These are the people that figured out I'm thinking maybe the pyramids and all that stuff, that kind of thing, and those people. And then we enter Ugazi, which is the age where we lose that, right? We lose that, and we take what is remaining and we use it to start just turning on each other and bickering and falling apart and all that stuff, right? And so that is the age we're in, is the fourth world age, is Ugazi. And it is said that many of the children of the rising sun were able to foresee what was coming, so they died with the knowledge that they had in their time, right? So it seems to go a pattern of lost, found, lost, found, lost, found, lost, found. So we're in an era of lostness, I guess, and perhaps the next world age will be an age of awareness, an age where we're found again, where we know what's going on, right? Ugaka, where there's heavy, strong connection. Ogachi, connection cuts. We have to figure it out ourselves. Oganwu, we figured it out so much we're connected again. Ogazi, we're not connected anymore because we started wilding out. So, so yeah, those are the four world ages. Yes, Oriishi. Damn, you guys really got these questions tonight. Well, I'll stay. Oh, that means no, okay, yeah. Ifa traditionally focuses on Uri. I think you've said that before, Uchechi. Yeah. But I think later colonialism influenced it. Colonialism and Islam was a big part of it. Like even the term Babalawo, Baba is Arabic. So I think Islam and Christianity influenced that and became more like. And then there's people trying to make Odinani did that too. So I mean, it's whatever, dude. You just gotta, it's whatever. You gotta let Ugazi. So it's frustrating, but sometimes I feel like I'm like using a cup to like scoop away a flood, with how potent and violently uh, 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 just just how ridiculously powerful ignorance is and how it spreads and so forth. So 32 people in here and only 20 likes. You've got to be out of your mind if you haven't hit like. I've been in here for almost 3 hours banging it out, and I only got 21 likes. So yeah, you guys gotta be. You guys are you're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls. Where we don't get. Oh wait. You have an external finding where we don't let. I don't understand what that means. Like the scripture says, the kingdom of heaven. Hey man, if you don't get out of my face with that spook shit, I don't get out of my face with that bullshit. What do you mean, kingdom of heaven? Are you? What the fuck? Hey, go ask them people, man. We're not talking about the same thing. We're not talking about the same thing. That's why I couldn't stay in Ile. I can't prostrate to another human being. It's the oh, yeah. That prostrating causes a lot of cross cultural friction. If you're a man in Igbo culture, you can't do that. Even a woman, I mean, you can curtsy, but you can't do that as like an adult man because you are the representative of so many things. So the hell you look like doing that to a that type of shit. But yeah, it's very important in Yoruba culture, and it's something that they pride themselves in. And yeah, it's seen as very honorable to do. So that's what that is. But yeah, if it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. Maybe there's something in Igbo culture be like, yo, what the fuck's going on over here? But we'll see anyway. But yeah, you can't do that, especially if like a titled band sitting there talking about, you can't do that. You can't do that. Clarification. I'm starting to build my family tree. I find my family are from places practicing hoodoo and voodoo. Not sure yet. Okay, are you not asking me? Frustration never bothered me, but it depends on the person. It's like calling someone sir. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What means to be split? You're talking about the kingdom of heaven. That's not. I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about that. So I'm asking, is there a point in time where we return back to God like the first? I don't know. I can't tell you the future. I can't tell you the future. So I don't know. I don't know why that would be the goal either, right? I don't know that why that would be. You're connected to God already. The earth is God. You already returned to God. The earth is God, right? The earth is God. So you're already here. You're already here, right? The earth is your creator. I'm not talking about belief. I'm talking about real ass life. It's the earth that made you, right? If you die right now, you'll turn back into earth, right? So you're already connected to your creator. And if this isn't good enough, I don't know. I don't, what else, what else you need? What else is gonna happen? You're already connected. You boy ancestry of me is saying hell no, we're not jiggy with that. Yeah. So they stereotype Igbo people as being they don't respect elders because they don't do that. They don't prostrate, you know. So I ain't doing that shit, man. Can't get jiggy with that at all, man. What do you feel? How powerful it is to follow your gut? How do you distinguish what's your gut, not insecurity or wishful thinking? Nice. Very good question. I often live constant doubt and play the devil's advocate with myself. That I would have to think. So if you're on Patreon, can you message me that question? I have to think about it. And I'm just gonna be frank. I'm not a doubtful person, so I can't. It's hard for me to understand that thinking. I don't understand the thinking, and so if I can't understand it, I can't give you a real answer. I can just give you some bullshit that I think is right. But I would have to. I mean, I've doubted myself before, but I've also said that okay, that's just a feeling, right? That's just Okay, just do the thing, that whatever. I've doubted myself. I doubted myself before I started this channel because like when I speak Igbo, it's have a very very strong American accent. And so I was like, I don't think I should be the one to do it because I can't pronounce the words and this and this and that and yada yada yada. I reached out to a couple of people. Hey, you think you can do this thing? I got all the info here. I can plug you in anything you need. I can tell you more. I even got this whole library I've been reading for a couple of years now. I just want to just check this out. Like, nah, 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 nah. So I just did the thing and the doubt went away. But yeah, I've experienced this. I don't experience. I'm a human being, but I would have to think about that a little bit more because I don't want to give you the wrong answer because I have to really think about it because I don't really feel that feeling anymore. Earth is God? Hell yeah. Yes, Earth is God. Whatever you define God, I've never seen a definition of God that doesn't go back to the earth. Earth is also made of stardust like us. Umu ajana na papando eligwe, which means children of earth, sand, and stardust. Umu ajana na papando eligwe, children of earth, sand, and stardust. It's one of the many ways you refer to humans as far as Odinani goes. So we have an understanding of that. Our ancestors understood that it's all one cloth, it's all one creation, it's all one fabric. And it's God. That's God. That's God. It's not something you go somewhere else and that kind of thing. Whatever you define, guys, your creator. Here she is. You know, here she is. Hey, Kanga Nation. Diddy used to hang out with Pastor TD Jakes, and look how he is. So miss me with that heaven stuff. Have you ever been swallowed? Oh shit! Yeah, 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 yeah. I think when people are particularly nefarious, it becomes important to outwardly display religion and outwardly display spirituality. And that's when I get suspicious. Even like as far as Odinani goes. So because Christianity rewards you for like being really fervent and really ridiculous and just mental, that people will leave Christianity and say, okay, I want to do African spirituality, and they start ODing the exact same way, just overdosing, just doing too much, doing too fucking much, doing too fucking much. I don't think your spiritual practice should pull you too far away from your regular life. I don't think it should be more than it's an ingredient in how you live. It shouldn't be. It's not the end all be all of how you live. My ancestors don't want me to spend 10 days of straight sitting there trying to communicate with them and praising them and honoring them and my kids are hungry, this and that kind of thing. You know, they don't want to see that stupid shit. And if the ancestors want to see it, I don't want to hear from that. Hey, you need to chill out. You got weird priorities, my dude or my lady. You know, so yeah, I don't think it should be more than 30% of your formula as far as your operation as a human being. You should not divorce yourself from reality to do Odinani, to do this, to do that. And I think that when you start seeing that like just overdosing, doing too much, it's like it's suspicious. It's suspicious because boy, that Diddy boy, that Diddy used to talk about that. Hey, do this God, God, God. Pat TD Jakes, and they say he's doing some shit too, man. But again, yeah, working with your chi and indiche, ezioku. Give your doubts and issues to the earth, Allah, and call in support. Ise Dibia, Gerard Miller. Thank you for that. Hey, yo, I don't even need to answer questions no more. Y'all got it? I don't even need to answer questions anymore. We've got no. You guys are keep going, keep going. TD Jakes traces ancestor to Igbo land. Ain't that something? I mean, he looks like it. I can tell. You've been swallowed. You've been swallowed. Oh man, hey, Cat Williams called it. It's been a wild year. It's been a wild year. I think detaching from heaven and hell helps us relax and be more genuine. Yeah, yeah. If your spirituality is, that's another one. I think I'll make a video on Instagram. If your understanding of African, I don't know about all that other stuff, but if your understanding of, let me just say, African spirituality is rooted in some type of fear or some type of like, yeah, in fear rooted in, is root you're not talking about the same thing I'm talking about, and I would prefer you just go to church. If it's rooted in if you're just come, you're scared. Oh man, my ancestors are gonna fucking, oh man, like, what are you fucking talking, bro? What are you talking about, man? Your great grandmother, that nice little woman, yes, that's who you're afraid of smiting you because you didn't put the unzu around your head or whatever. If it's rooted in fear, right? Because a lot of people are bringing that fear-based stuff over here too, and just be discerning when you encounter it, right? Somebody was telling me earlier, oh, they said that if you do it, man, man, I don't know, I don't know. Yeah, if it's rooted in fear, you're not doing what we're doing. You're not talking about what we're talking about, right? So I said I don't want to hear all that afraid of ghost bullshit. So I'm gonna be 38 years old talking about, you've been swallowed. There are not only rituals, but also therapy, positive affirmation, shadow work, and our child work. He said, yes, 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 yes. Traditional wisdom and spirituality. I should just make a video of me reading Gerard Miller quotes. Gerard Miller, Uchechi. I got some hitters in here. Uchechi, Creative Force. You guys are killing it with the answers. So the foundation of traditional wisdom and spirituality is forming a relationship of harmony with yourself and your ancestors, which are also yourself, but yes, 100%, which I'm sure you're implying in there too, among which the earth you are made of is, yes, exactly. The earth, the sky, those are your ancestors. Those are your ancestors. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Abrahamic spookism in you. Yeah. But I want I want to stop that tide. But man, sometimes I feel like I just got this little cup and the house is filling up with water and I'm trying to throw this with this little ass Dixie cup trying to throw. That's what I've been feeling like all day, honestly. Let me tell you guys the truth. I had this conversation with my mom and before, the reason I've just been cracking up this whole time, we were laughing about a lot of stuff. My mom and I were laughing about a lot of stuff before I went live. One of them, not kind of related to anything, is that we have this one uncle who she always accuses of like trying to do juju on people. And she was talking about how a cat She's talking about how a cat snuck into her basement when my youngest brother was living with her. Snuck into the basement, and she went and got him. She said, "I swear that's. I guess let's just call him Jeffrey. I swear that's Uncle Jeffrey." And my brother's like, "Yo, what the?" And she's like, "Kill that cat." And they're just kind of talking about this cat, and she's dead. I don't. I'm sorry. Maybe this is just funny to me. But I think it's family inside joke stuff. But yeah, yeah. So eventually the cat left the house, and my brother keeps making these jokes like, "What if I would have beat that cat? What if I would have beat that cat?" And we go back home, and Uncle Jeffrey's in a wheelchair, and he's just looking at me, and I'm looking at him, but nobody's saying shit. Yo, I died laughing, man. That shit was funny as hell. But yeah, so we are just joking about that stuff. But yeah, yeah. Sometimes I feel like I got a Dixie cup and I'm just trying to like just the ignorance just coming in, coming in. Yeah, I'm talking about Umwada. Somebody comes and says that's not real Umwada. Umwada or the spirit that the women and what the fuck are you talking about? Yo, maybe I think I'm just venting. just looking at each other. Oh shit. Oh, what's the topic of tomorrow's group study? Can we discuss dreams? A topic hasn't come to me. A topic hasn't come to me. It usually happens like when I wake up that day, so I'll just let it flow. Oh man, I'm just been here cracking myself up, guys. I do have to shut it down. So this has been a great discussion. Oh man, I cracked myself up twice, which is a big achievement for the lives. So as always, and if you want to support the channel, in fact, forget about support the channel. Get on the Patreon, join the community, join the village. Right? We have a group study tomorrow morning. I want to see you guys in there. We didn't have one the last time because I've just been moving. There's been a lot of chaos going on, and I was just tired. But the actually I think I was like sick. I can't remember. But anyways, yeah. So we're having one this Sunday morning at 10 Central Time. 10 Central Time. And again, it's just all of us talking. Like, just if you like this, it's just us all sharing. And then, like, you guys can talk too. It's not just me yapping. And so yeah, that's happening tomorrow. But yeah, just come hang out, join the village. And then yeah, if you're interested in learning traditional medicine, beginning a DBA path, or you're just curious about how it works, we have a traditional medicine class at Kedu, www.kedu.me. Um, the next session, I'm not going to say the date, but the next session is in the summer. I don't do dates very well, dates and numbers. And so the next session is in the summer. There's a session going on right now. That one is yo, I should have capped it at 12 people. I should have capped. I said 12 people, and it was like, I want to join. Okay, fine, everybody come in, come in, come in. Man, I should have capped it at. I should have been for real with that cap. So next time, 12 people, sign your ass up now because it's people are going to sign up. So 12 people, traditional medicine class. Then of course we have our Igbo language class of the same Kedu. All of that is at www.kedu.me. That being said, the group study is tomorrow. The discussion is tomorrow, so tomorrow morning. So I'm gonna go to sleep, wake up, and have the discussion. Um, so yeah, if you're able to make it, that'd be great. The link will appear on Patreon. But I feel like Loki, feel like some of y'all just kind of have the link anyway. So I know I feel like some of the people in there ain't even on the Patreon anymore. But yeah, anyways, that being said, uno gade, uno gato, TMS Village Quenu. Hey! Hey! I'm yelling, I'm scaring these white people trying to sleep and shit. Anyways, yeah, uno gade, uno gato, nkobla uno tiri aka o gade no wa. Gade otu aneke, no rie. The language class is also a culture class, but yes, 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 absolutely. And Gerard, I'm actually what you said made a lot of sense. I am actually going to open a culture class, and it is going to be a requirement. Um, because I'm not gonna have all that American ass behavior mentality stressing me out anymore. So you are 100% correct. I like what you said about that a while back. I got some announcements to make on Monday. Anyways, that being said, uno gade, uno geto, nke ọbụla unu tiri aka ọ ga-adị n'ụwa. Ọ ga-adị otu a na eke, n'orie, n'afọ, na nkwọ, ise.